to go live so people can ask questions on YouTube, etc. as well.
Yeah, we have gone on live on YouTube as well now.
Yeah. Going in, just going live. Here we go. To go live so people can. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So, great. We are having attendees join in. We are having still some people joining in. Okay. We can see quite a few new people today.
Yeah.
Like, which is really
a lot of new faces.
New faces. Yeah. Brilliant. We'll just allow a minute for everyone to join in. People are still joining in. Yeah. We'll do a short poll, but let's just have like everyone joining. We will do that. Okay. So guys, welcome to this webinar on how we can build an exciting career in international business laws. We both are really excited to share a lot of different things with you. My name is Komal Shah. I am the co-founder and content head for 𝗨𝗂 𝗂𝗀. And with me, we have Yash. Yash, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm 𝗕𝗵𝗱𝗫. I am a senior associate with 𝗨𝗂 𝗂𝗀 and I anchor a lot of courses for 𝗨𝗂 𝗂𝗀. So we are, like Komal said, we are really excited to discuss what we have today.
Brilliant. So before we get into the topic for the day, we'd like to know a little bit about the makeup of the audience here. So we're going to launch a short poll, and it's just to know what your occupation is. So if as many people as you can, if you can please participate in the poll, it'll be fantastic. So I'm just going to launch it. Here. Can everyone see the poll? Is it visible? Yeah, we can see the responses trickling in. Guys, please respond to the poll so we can know what the makeup or the breakup of the audience here is today. Let's see. Okay. Still responses are trickling in. I'll let it open. Let it be open for a little while. I can still see a lot of people responding. It's getting on added. Everyone please respond to the poll so that we can know what the breakup of the audience here is today. Okay. Please respond to the poll. Okay, we're 1 minute into it. I'm going to end the poll in about 10 seconds. Please respond to it. Perfect. Okay, so we're ending the poll here. Okay, so the news is that we have maximum law students here. We have, a lot of advocates. Okay, so I'll just share the results. You guys can see this. So many of us are law students here. This is brilliant. Okay, great. Okay, so let's get into the session for now. I will just briefly introduce the speakers to us as we go along. Let me get to begin with the slides. Right. So this is going to be our topic for today, how to make a career in international business laws. And we are going to, work on, and we are going to look at a lot of different opportunities and areas where you can really make your mark in this field, right? So, just going a little bit ahead, a little background of the speakers that we have. If I give a little background that, of myself. My name is Komal Shah. I am a co-founder and content head for 𝗨𝗂𝘂. By background, I am a lawyer, and I have also led a lawyer and the company secretary. And I have also worked with, a lot of multinational corporations in their legal and corporate governance departments, right? My background mostly is in in-house roles, but I have had stints with practice areas as well. So it spans over a period of 15 years now, more than that. So I'll have, and now I am with 𝗨𝗂𝘂 fully. So Yash, would you like to give your background a little bit?
So basically, I graduated from National Law University, Calcutta in 2016. After that, for 2 years, I was working as a legal counsel for Bharat Petroleum, uh, reviewing and heading state of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. After that, I've had a lot of short stints with independent practice. I've done a lot work with several startups, and then I currently am a senior associate with 𝗨𝗂𝘂, where I mentor students and ensure that they get the success we have promised them. So yeah. By the way, Komal, we have somebody from Philippines with us. Hi, Delma.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. Okay, brilliant. Who is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Delma. Hi, Delma. Okay, great. Okay, brilliant. So, this is what we decided we will chat about. So, this is one thing that, is a question in a lot of people's minds. Like, I want to learn international law, and then what are the career options that I have after studying international law? Where can I make my mark? Where am I going to stand? Okay, so there's a lot of confusion on this. So this is the background, our background we already gave. But these are the kind of inquiries that we get all the time, which we had for a while. We've had these kind of inquiries for a while. And that is, how can I work abroad? Okay. And do I have to do a master's in law abroad for this? Now, this is one thing which I can say that has been there since quite a while, where people have been inquiring that how can I be able to work out of India? Another question that we have is, how can I get remote work as a law student from foreign companies and startups abroad? Because now, as we understand from the last some period of time, we have seen remote opportunities crop up like anything. Just a few years back, someone wouldn't really be willing or be positive to go about so much of remote opportunities, but the pandemic made people realize that this was very much possible and even profitable. And that's the reason why this is also a question that we get, that how can I get remote work and how can we work through this? Now, the problem is that most people don't really understand what international law is. Now, when we say international law, the kind of idea that people have is very, very much into the domain of public international law, right? People will think that it is public international law. It is law between the nations. And then what are the kind of, treaties that are entered into, that sort of thing. That is what people are considering as international law. Okay. And now the thing is, it's not impossible to work in international law if that's the idea you are thinking of. But then, like we're saying, it's not even possible to go to the moon. So the question is, how soon or how many number of times or how frequently can you get opportunities in that, right? So the truth is that, if you're looking to work actually in the domain of what is really public international law, okay, this is going to be for very, very few people. And that too, there has to be that kind of a recognition if you want to be working in that domain. Okay. So when we say international law, we mean a different kind of international law. Okay, and that's the kind of international law which never gets taught in the colleges. And yet now you see, like, that there is a lot of work that you find that people have to do in this area. Like, it is coming and it's going to grow like anything. Okay, so this is the law we are thinking of. Okay, this is the international law we are talking about. Now, when do you think does a career become attractive? Okay, yes, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, so
It's a
Komal,
different domain.
yeah, when you were talking about this, I just remembered my days in law school. So I'm from NUJS, right? It's supposed to be one of the better law schools that we have in the country. But I still remember till fourth year, whenever somebody would say international law, I was like, huh, public international law, na? They are talking about United Nations and all this stuff. It never occurred that there can be disputes and all this till my fifth year. And by the time you realize this, it's always too late. And also
Right.
this becomes very important in context of law students, because we see when we talk about our engineer friends or everybody, they will have, my brother is in Patiala right now, RGNUL Patiala. So he always comes to me. He's like, my other batchmates, they are going, they have job opportunities abroad. Tell me what I can do. And I always used to be like, "Ki, nahi, we have to figure out this way." Yeah.
Right, right. So that is the situation. So you have to think of that, when does the career become really attractive, right? So when do you think that there'll be opportunities that are abounding in some area, or when you find, like, more people kind of relatively easily getting jobs. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, that's when, like, you are going to have a really good career. Okay. So at 𝗨𝗂, this is the thing, like, we will not look at areas which have very few or rare career opportunities. We are going to focus on areas which are in really high demand. So the opportunities abound, and there are relatively less people, far less people. In fact, then there is going to be a demand. Okay, because then it is easy for us to ensure that, our students find jobs, internships, freelance work, and everything. So in which case our company becomes very successful, because as 𝗨𝗂, we measure ourselves on what is the success that our students get, okay, in terms of getting jobs, getting client opportunities. We view our success in that terms. Okay, so this is how we define that, when our students are able to really find the jobs, internship opportunities, freelance work very fast, that's when our company will become really successful. And that's why we always focus on these kind of areas, okay, which are really high demand and which have less supply. So why are we focusing on international business laws now? Okay, and we're going to come and we're going to detail what we talk about when we mean international business laws. But why are we focusing on this now? Okay, so there is a high level of unfulfilled demand. This is the main thing that I drew at, that there's a very high demand for this kind of skills. Okay, and there isn't that much, like, in fact, there is rarely any people you will find who are really really skilled in terms of international business law. Okay,
In
there is a
fact,
special window. Yeah, yes, you want to say something?
In fact, if you take a small poll and see students around you or people around you, just ask how many of them specialized in international business law, or how many people you know who have done some work in international business law. That's the easiest way to know that how many people are
Yeah.
actually pursuing this.
Like, if you ask for people who are into M&A or corporate law or things like that, you may find lot of people who are in litigation. But ask someone, how are you, like, are you specializing in international business law, or do you know international business law? You will rarely find people who are actually working in that area. Okay, so there is an area window of opportunity in this, because on one hand there are more startups and the businesses which are going international. Okay, but law colleges are not teaching these skills. Okay. And if you see startups, the rate at which they are expanding into countries beyond the world with the help of beyond the borders of India, with the help of investor driven money, it's like unbelievable. To at one time they will be reaching out into something like 20-30 different countries. That's the kind of aim or targets entities are having nowadays. Okay. So that is why this opportunity is here right now, okay, in this domain, because you see entities going international like anything. Now, supply will remain low in the foreseeable future because most lawyers restrict themselves to one jurisdiction. But these kind of businesses require experts who have multi-jurisdictional expertise, right? So it's not being taught. And right now it is happening so fast all of a sudden that it is going to take a little bit of time for this gap between the supply and demand to fix itself. So there will be people who will slowly start moving towards learning international business law because there is an existing demand. And the way it will happen is that, when at in a certain period of time, the demand equals supply, or if supply exceeds demand, then that opportunity will start to cease. It will start to recede, and it will not be available to that extent. So right now you have this window where there is this massive gap, okay, and the supply will remain low for a period, for a foreseeable future, okay. Now this kind of expertise can only be found in big UK or US law firms, and these people are very, very expensive. Okay, just think of the kind of startups who are crazy going global. They have had few 8 years of operation to expand, and they need to reach out. They need people who are going to guide them on that. There are also international law firms who will be helping these startups. There are also in-house counsel roles cropping up because these startups are growing. Okay, and the expertise is only in UK or US law firms, and that is very, very expensive. So here is one profile that I would like to share. Let me see if there is something that needs to be answered here. Okay. So this is a profile. If you can have a look at this profile for this person, Charlie Morgan, who is a UK based lawyer, but this is the kind of expertise that people are beginning to have slowly. Okay, cross-border commercial disputes. So you will find profiles which kind of have this expertise that I am working in multiple jurisdictions. Okay, you will find in-house counsel profiles also which are in this domain. They signify clearly that they are working in multiple jurisdictions.
So how
Okay,
many of
we're
you
going to
have heard
share.
of, yeah, yes, sorry, Komal.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask a
Sorry,
small
you were
question.
talking.
So,
You were talking
yeah,
about something.
how many of you have heard about Herbert Smith Freehills, HSF, Allen and Overy? Anybody who has heard of these names?
Baker McKenzie.
Baker
These are all
McKenzie.
firms. Or you always come across that. What are people saying?
Few have heard, most
Few
have
have
don't.
heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Magic Circle firms, very good.
These firms are present in international, in multiple jurisdictions. Okay. And the reason they can easily get clients or they will get clients in this domain is that if people have used or worked with any of these firms in one jurisdiction, then it is kind of given, they will find it, they will become more comfortable to also avail of their services in another jurisdiction. Okay, that's one reason why firms like this kind of always work, and they will get demand because of the scenario that is happening now. Okay, so let's look at what are the kind of career alternatives. So what kind of, like, designations of work or everything that you have when you are looking to be in the field of international business laws. Okay, what kind of careers become available to you? Okay, international law firms, as we just said, so they are present in multiple jurisdictions. So like I said, despite being an expense, the thing is someone who's entering into a completely unknown territory might prefer a law firm who is in this who is in this category, because they have worked with them at some place. Okay, so I can tell you my experience that when I was working with a company which had presence in many countries across the globe, we had worked with Baker McKenzie for something in one jurisdiction. And then Baker McKenzie kind of, we started involving with Baker McKenzie in other jurisdictions as well. So international law firms are like, a big source where you can look for opportunity if you are aware of this kind of regions. Not only that, you may be able to travel from one office to another if you are skilled. Just imagine, like, you are working with an international law firm here in India, and it has a presence in UAE, and people discover that now you know UAE law very well. Why not? They might even let you, like, take a transfer and move you to their office there. Okay, so very, very much possible. In-house counsel positions in MNCs or startups which are going international, in-house counsel roles will, like, and these develop when you're looking at entities which are huge multinational companies. They go from, like, smaller roles like a legal analyst or something role, and then someone grows in that organization over a period of time. Okay, but in that duration you kind of learn very, very well how structured legal work gets done between multiple jurisdictions, what are the reporting mechanisms, what are the internal policies, everything you come to know about it. Yes, yes.
No, Komal, you can continue. You
Yes,
can
you will
continue.
say.
Yeah, I think you covered the point.
Okay, great. Freelance lawyer and compliance specialists, right? So why do you think freelance positions kind of work? Because people do not want, may not want um, employees all the time. Okay, they may not want full-fledged whole legal divisions or something, but they definitely need help. Okay, and if you are going at relatively smaller companies, they will prefer freelance legal help. They may even outsource their whole legal functions to someone. So it's like, someone is functioning like an outsourced legal counsel for these kind of entities. So that opportunities can be there. Compliance specialists. Okay, now it looks, when you say compliance, it looks mundane, but it becomes very, very important when you are looking at multiple jurisdictions, because violation or, like, missing out something into another jurisdiction can be very, very costly. International business strategists, what is this? So this is someone who's actually able to frame for you what are the kind of opportunities you have available, what are the routes or modes of entry you have, which is the best mode or best route of entry you should take if you are entering into a foreign domain. Okay, that's the kind of strategies or plans that these guys make, and this can be in the zone of people or the firms who are management consultants, right? Like, so it can be the big four firms or other consulting firms. Okay, like you have the Boston Consulting Group. Okay, so people who are like business consultants will fall in this domain, and you can work with them. Market entry specialists. So these are basically people who are really skilled in identifying things for you, identifying domains, and basically guiding you on what are the routes that you can use. Should you establish presence in a country, or you can just like, stay here and work or have contracts, cross-border contracts, or you can just market your services in that country. These are the kinds of things. So you want to enter into a certain market, then these people will guide you through the market entry routes, okay, or strategies. Now, do non-lawyers need to learn international business laws as well? So is this going to be only lawyers? Just yesterday, we were doing a webinar where we were talking about why, heads of companies, people at the helm of companies, CXOs will need to learn business laws, okay? So CXOs of MNCs and startups, which have international business ambitions, okay, and people who are focusing on international expansion, okay, and accountants and corporate secretaries who want to work with multinational companies, MNCs, will benefit a great deal from knowledge. It's not just the lawyers, it is all of these people who can also benefit from, the knowledge of international business laws. So this is also like, as we said, it's a dream of many people that we want to do cross-border work. We want to do international work. Now, what is it that attracts the people? What is it in international work? Is it just the charm of like, having another jurisdiction or something? What are the different things that will attract people? Number one is money, because we're going to see some some statistics a little bit later, but definitely the roles which involve elements of international business are characterized by higher salary payments than something that is restricted on a local or a national level. Okay, we will see the stats of this difference, but this is clearly it, like, if you look at the surveys, clearly you will find that the salary ranges increase in MNCs, salary ranges increase in firms which have an international presence. It increases in cases where you have international business knowledge. Okay, how much can you earn? We are going to see an average level of salary, and we're going to see, like, a little bit of differences between how entities which have operations across a lot of different countries offer you. But if I make a spoiler to you, the average, like, people worked out on the basis of some responses is far higher. It's very higher. It is somewhere in the range of 20 lakhs that you can make if you are knowing this knowledge, if you are aware of this. Okay. Purchasing power parity. Now, this is the reason why people get paid really more, because, like, you think of it, you're living in India and you're supplying services to entities or companies which are across the globe. The kind of, like, expenses that you have and the kind of expenses someone living in that jurisdiction has is vastly different. Okay. That is why there is talent arbitrage. Okay, so people who are living in other countries, why do they look for cross-border skills? For this reason, that people who are available locally to them will be charging higher because of, like, the increase in the level of expenses in that country. There are higher expenses, so people will be expecting higher salaries. And if the same kind of skills they can get from another country which has a lower degree or a lower cost of living, they will have to shell out much lower. While the person who's actually living in that country and is working on opportunities which are abroad, say someone in India is looking for an opportunity in US, okay, then the kind of salaries that they'll, kind of returns they will get per hour, kind of returns or things that they will get when they are doing the work will be far higher than the rate, than the return or the remuneration that they get from Indian entities and yet will be a bargain for the entity which is there in the US. Because in US, something will cost them typically $40 per hour. That same thing can cost here $15 per hour. And if you're working at $15 per hour, you will still be earning on a higher level than what people get, like, paid in India. So that is just the talent arbitrage, and that's happening right now. Okay, so you get paid more if you work on international matters. Okay, now it's not just you are working for their own jurisdiction, you are advising them from multiple jurisdictions. So now you will get paid even more because they have to look for the right kind of people. And there are very few experts. Okay, like Yash said, if you are actually looking at finding people who are experts in international business laws, there are very few people who are available, and so the hourly rates are relatively higher. Okay, and working on important matters. What can be important matters? Like your intellectual property, somewhere you need to protect it, like kind of right now, immediately. Okay, things like that can become really useful. What kind of businesses have international legal and compliance work? So who has this? Where can you look for this kind of opportunity? Okay, we already told you the designations that you can have. We already told you what are the things that can be attractive, like, why do people rush for international business work opportunities? Now who has this? Okay, which kind of businesses will have this work? Okay, you have to look for that. So who has is it going to be, a startup which is suddenly going to be international? Is it going to be a huge multinational corporation? Is it going to be law firms? Where are you? That's which kind of opportunity are you looking for? That's what, like, will decide this. That's what attracts people basically towards this. Okay, and a lot rides on this kind of work, because just think of it, like, it's all huge amount of money which is going to be put at stake when someone is going cross borders. Okay, so it's not a small amount, it's a high stake deal. When someone is looking to foray internationally, it's a really high stake deal. Okay, so it can work out, it can not work out, and if it doesn't work out, like, it is really a risky deal. A lot of money is put into it. Okay, so many people who kind of like challenges like this. Okay, because there is a lot of stake in that, and people who are experts can guide the foray properly. That's why they will get paid a lot higher. Working with international organizations, like, people kind of have this, that you want to work with, the likes of, let's say international labor organization or something like that. If you're working with organizations which are international, okay, even in that situation, you must be aware of, how international business laws work. We have someone, by the way, in our course who's a faculty, who is an advisor to the UN. Okay, so you can think of what kind of expertise or opportunities you have. And you can get to work for or against giant international corporations. And when I say giant, it means really humongous. Like, you think of the size of JP Morgan, or you think of the size of Goldman Sachs. Okay, these kind of organizations. So you will be working in this category. This is the level at which you can be operating. Okay, if you're aware. Getting exposure to regulators in different countries. So anywhere where you set foot, you are going to be hit by regulation. Okay, so if you are aware of multiple regulators in different countries, it's always a plus. It kind of puts you in a category where you always know, like, just think of this, and I've seen this happen. We had a CEO, like when my company was being taken over by JP Morgan, there was a CEO that we had for a while. He was, the age range was in the domain of 30, so that young. Okay, but how did he reach this kind of position? How did he reach a CXO position? So he was very, very well aware of multiple different kind of jurisdictions. Why? Because his father was working with the UN. He had traveled, he had worked, he had learned in multiple different kinds of jurisdictions. Very well aware, and therefore the growth within the organization was incredibly fast. Okay. Building an international professional network, this is also something that can attract you. Like, think of this, in your network you have people who are cross borders, like who are let's say you have a network with someone ranging from Switzerland, to you have network with someone who's in Japan, you have network with someone who's in Brazil, you have network with someone who's in China. Like, it is just incredible to have that, and the kind of insights that you get when things are moving at multiple different places is just amazing. Living abroad, I mean, I don't know, like, so many people would want to have to experience this. Okay, so a lot of people, so many people who will want to live out of India for a good while. And this is not just living as in you go and visit and you stay for a duration. People actually want to experience working abroad. Okay, they really want to do this, and it's characterized by a really good increase in your vision. I can tell you that from my own experience, that if you're living and working abroad, okay, you're working in an organization abroad, it's just a far more broader vision that you get than if you are working at a domestic level. You get to travel internationally. Okay, you get to see different countries. And I remember this, like, there used to be some kind of a contest in the company that I used to work to. People will actually go to the maps and they will plant and they will mark the countries that they have visited. And then they will be like, how many countries have you seen until now in your life? So you can live in foreign countries, including the developed countries. Always, you are exposed to much better systems of working. You can work remotely in developed countries while living in your home country. This is also an option. So you stay here, spend here, and yet get exposed to a system which is like, far advanced. You can be a digital nomad, living in places of your choice while you are still working in your dream job. So you travel around the work, live anywhere, work anywhere. Okay, you're sitting anywhere, somewhere on the beach, and you're working for some four countries in some other jurisdiction. So that's what Ramanuj is doing right now. He's in Zanzibar. So, like, you can be a digital nomad, and you can be like, living anywhere, working anywhere. It's a dream of so many people. What kind of work do you do if you are an international business lawyer? So what is it that you get to do? Okay, and this will characterize what we mean when we say international business law. It's not public international law. So what is it? Okay, this is what will involve international business expansion and market entry. Okay, this is one thing that which is characterized by the international law we are talking about. Incorporation and business licenses in foreign jurisdictions. Okay, it is a hell of an experience. Pardon my language, but I am telling you that it can be incredibly thrilling. Okay, because sometimes you are supposed to get that incorporation and license in, in the kind of deadlines you haven't imagined, and you have to root through, you have to find the right kind of regulators and get it shaped and get it done. Okay.
So just a small question, guys.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think that if, say, suppose you are advising a company who is going to enter India or a company who is going abroad, doing a expansion, what are the things that will come according to you? You can type on chat and let's see whether it matches with the things we are going to discuss or not. How many of it you get correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Labor laws, Prasanna is saying.
Very good.
Okay.
Business
Investment rules, business policy, regulatory bank, business regulation in that country's tax laws. So late.
Perfect.
So
Very
late.
good.
International
National
disputes. Okay. Antitrust issues, of course, why not? DTA is tax basically. RBI rules so is your 𝗵𝗵 related regulations. Okay. Environmental regulations, tax, dispute, jurisdictions, incorporations. What is limitations of work? Business rankings. Is that an area of work? Company law. Okay. But you will say, like, basically you will talk about incorporating entities, may not necessarily characterized by separate kind of company law in all areas. All commercial laws and practices.
One thing you still have missed.
What have you missed?
Guess what is like the important thing that you have missed? All of this is
cross-border
okay.
insolvency, M&As, regulator, economic environment. No, we're talking about the work. Contracts is got it.
Yeah, contracts.
Okay, so yeah, cross-border contracts, definitely. Okay.
And also and also wouldn't you be worrying about enforcement as well, not just the drafting part?
Yeah, everything in contract.
Everything.
Intellectual property protection, very good.
Very good.
Yeah. Anti-money laundering. Yeah. Information and analysis.
That's very generic, Rupesh.
Yeah, very generic. So let's see what is the exact work,
Yeah, let's talk about what the work is now.
Yeah. So, foreign direct investment, FDI and foreign exchange regulations in different countries. So now, like, you must know what are the kind of exchange control regulations in different countries. For us, we have a very detailed Foreign Exchange Management Act and regulations and everything. But now in countries like UAE, there can be none. Okay, nothing. So you have to find out what is the relevant foreign exchange regulation in that country and what needs to be done. Okay. Also in consonance with what you have in India, okay, because it is going to be a transaction which involves India as well. But this is something that you have to know what is a kind of exchange control regulation that is applicable in different countries. Very, very important, negotiating and drafting international contracts. It's not just drafting, guys. The thing is, you must be aware of how to negotiate the terms of the contracts as well. And just for this purposes also, you should be very clear or aware of how the economic and legal environment is in that country. Because when you are putting a term, when you are looking at drafting contracts accordingly, you are not wanting it to be something which will not be enforceable in that jurisdiction. Okay, right from the beginning, it may not be enforceable in that jurisdiction. And then what are you going to do? So that's why you have to be very, very well aware of what works in that region when you are negotiating the terms of those contracts. Okay, and then you come to drafting them once you have bottom line the terms and you have negotiated. Tax structuring, this can be the reason why entities venture outside of the country. So very, very important, like you have to know how tax structuring works, okay, in international transactions. Compliance in foreign jurisdictions, like I said, like we were talking about the kind of penalty that you would have in UAE a little while back, like when if you don't have a license and you go and function, it can go into crazy amount of AD, lakh AD it will have, and then the exchange rate will practically kill you. Okay, so that's why compliance becomes very, very important when you are looking at doing business outside India. Legal inputs and advice for international business strategy. So, first of all, the question is, where should I expand? which country should I expand? Like we looked at one profile specifically on Upwork. It was very interesting to see that the guy had a 1 hour consultation, okay, on where should I open my business? Where should I open my company? Which country should I open my company? That is a 1 hour consultation for US dollars 90. It's a telephone call that you enter into with this guy. He advises you on where you should open your company. Okay. So legal inputs and advice for international business strategy. Risk assessment for international business. People have to check, like you are entering into some another, what is the risk that you have? You have to check this. You have to think of conducting something that's called a risk analysis. Okay. Because there are so many unknown factors that you face. Okay. So that you have to figure and you have to think of, what if this will happen? What if this will happen? You always have to plan accordingly. There has to be a risk analysis that's done.
So
IP registration. Yeah, yes. You want to say something?
yeah, for risk analysis, I would say that, to give you an example, when you're doing a risk assessment as a lawyer, you not only look at what the law is. For instance, if you're advising a client who is expanding into China, so not only you'll tell that this is what the law is, but in your risk assessment, you'll be like, what if things go wrong? How will you enforce it? A contract enforce होते भी हैं वहां पे. Second चीज,
Yeah.
how often the laws change. Because in India, we are very habitual that, okay, this is the law, we'll go to judiciary, it is independent and it would be enforced. It doesn't happen in all the countries. So you have to understand the political context. कि
Yes.
अगर there will be political intervention. So yeah, these kind of things, this risk assessment is where you need to have a broader understanding of that particular thing.
Yeah. So this again, yesterday, yes, interestingly, we were talking of, like, why countries have investment protection treaties. Okay.
Yeah.
And you will see that, there are cases where companies or entities say that we were not given the benefit of this investment protection treaty. What is that? That is basically like giving protection to an investment from the changes in local laws. Okay. So that's the kind of importance that this has, that you have to think of what is the risk if the law changes, and if, like, our investments become like it's not a viable business or entry anymore. So what
Yeah.
if that happens? So you have to think of a risk analysis in those terms.
Yeah.
IP registration and enforcement abroad. This is very essential, because even really huge companies owning real, like, brand names, they can fail if they are not very well aware of how things work in the local jurisdictions. Okay. Smaller entities can come up and, like, use the IP, and then, like, it will be litigation, and it is possible that they are able to defeat it because they are aware there of how the IP enforcement works. But the bigger entity or multinational which is actually foraying into different jurisdiction is not aware. We have like landmark cases on IP being in this jurisdiction. Everyone has heard of that, like, the Kodak story, and everyone has heard of like Supermax, or, like, the Big Mac brand name that McDonald's had. All these things, all it's like, a situation where the entities were just not able to enforce. Okay. And they were not able to get registration and enforcement for intellectual property. Okay. Or where entities actually went and enforced and destroyed, like, their opponents, like, which are relatively bigger
Yeah.
companies. That can
Yeah.
also happen.
In fact, if you would go to India Kanun today and search for the top IP cases, most of them are fought by multinational corporations who have trademarks in other countries and who are entering into Indian jurisdiction, and vice versa. So that is the most important, because what are you doing? You're going to leverage your reputation abroad and come to a country. So this becomes the topmost priority, that this has to be enforced.
Yeah. It's very it's like, on a very high importance level for entities. that they have to enforce their IP. Dispute resolution in foreign jurisdictions, how does it work? Like for ourselves in India, we are aware how the court system works, how arbitration works, what the provisions of Arbitration and Conciliation Act are. Everything we are aware of. But what about the foreign jurisdiction where we are going to have a presence in? So how, if we enter into a dispute there, what is going to happen? Okay, how does the litigation mechanism work? How does the alternate dispute resolution mechanism work in that country? Can you actually give that to a third jurisdiction entirely, which doesn't belong to like any of the parties to the contract? Can you use those mechanisms? So this is something that you will get to work on. Enforcing arbitration awards, this is huge. Like you get arbitration awards in your favor, but actually getting them enforced in the other country is it's a task in itself. You have to be very, very well aware of how the system in that country takes a foreign award or a decree, and can it get enforced and implemented there. Okay. So even if you get things in your favor, if you are not through with this, then it doesn't work. What are the organizations where one gets an opportunity to practice international business laws? Okay, so what are the kind of places that we get to see this? Now, multinational companies, for obvious reasons, we are they already have a presence in multiple jurisdictions. So you would get to do work like that. You get into entities which have a global presence. You will get to work on transactions. You will get to work with foreign colleagues. You will get to work with different kind of opportunity or different kind of their offices around the globe. And the way the structuring in these organizations work, the reporting mechanisms will make you work with these people in other countries. Although that is there, you are having entities which traditionally went international and are working in that domain. There are large opportunities opening up with startups also, as we already saw, right?
So guys, can you give us few examples of entities that have gone internationally recently, few startups? At least 2 or 3.
Yeah, just a couple of startups, if you know of, which have recently forayed out.
Very good. Ola.
Okay. I think someone
that's
wanted to write Uber.
yeah.
𝗂𝗏𝗵, Zomato, yeah.
Very
Flipkart,
good.
all of these, yeah. There are even like Zomato, Flipkart, all of these are kind of still at a higher level of the market share. There are entities which are much smaller than this and still which are looking to foray out of the country. Okay.
Yeah, happiest minds. So
Happiest
because
Minds
see,
just
these
went
are the
to,
entities you know name of because they are directly dealing with
yeah.
customers. But there are so many who work in software services and other things who are going international now.
Yeah. 𝗵 is not a startup.
I wish.
So, okay. And what happens in international law firms if you're working with these firms? So, the value that international law firms with offices in many jurisdictions bring is they have access to experts in that jurisdictions. And we just noted that, right? That you have a better level of trust on these kind of firms, because they have multinational presence and you have work. They have access to experts in those jurisdictions. Okay. So, and they recognize the importance of cross-border multi-jurisdiction skills. Okay. So when you are, working with this kind of firms, this is what you will see. Okay. They realize and they understand that there is a value, they will put a value on. Now, if you go to a domestic company which actually never has expanded, or a firm which is working at a local level, maybe advising international clients to some extent, but is not present across the globe. Now, if you're going to that, and the difference between if you're going to a firm which is present across the globe. Okay, they will recognize the importance of this very well. Okay. So law firms which are operating locally in jurisdictions like Dubai, Singapore, Ireland, China, Japan, which are tax havens, also appreciate such skills. Okay, because it very naturally you will have other country people coming to these kind of countries because of the tax haven benefit that they have. So there is a very clear requirement for, like, firms which are operating in these jurisdictions to know these kinds of things. So if someone has these skills, they will welcome these kind of people like anything, because they want that to happen. They want people to have cross jurisdictional skills, because their clients can come from so many other different countries. So you make yourself a more attractive candidate to get hired in such law firms when you have knowledge of international business laws. Okay, for the reason that I just stated, if you know it, you are going to be able to service their clients who come from all of these different jurisdictions. So naturally, they will appreciate that.
Komal, I'd like to come here. So
yes.
So basically, I know, and this is a good time to take Vaibhav's question. Also, a lot of people are like, "Yeah, हमें India के law firms में तो job इतनी easily नहीं मिलते हैं." And you're talking about international law firms. We are not from a good college and all that. So, पहली important चीज that international law firms hardly recruit. So towards the end of today's workshop, we will show you at least 3 success stories where we have or students have been recruited by international law firms and they are working in international law firms. Second thing, when people think that why international law firms do not recruit from India or Indian law schools, always remember and go back to your law school and what kind of skills you have developed. Can you ever add any value to any international law firm? Mostly students think that हम international law firm में जाके भी what we can do is we will teach them Indian law. Nobody has knowledge of how international business law works. So why would somebody come and recruit you here? They'd probably work with foreign lawyers who have knowledge of multi-jurisdiction law and then have somebody, a local law firm, work for them. So that's the thing. It's a chicken and egg situation. Like I was telling Vaibhav, that you say that they do not recruit from India, but then have you seen the kind of skills you have?
Absolutely. You have to match that. And it is not like that they don't recruit. If they find people, I'll tell you, in UK or Ireland or the likes, law is actually not a scarce thing. Okay, it is not a sector which has scarcity. But if you find people who are very well aware of, kind of Asian jurisdictions, and it's not just India, okay, if they are aware of, multiple Asian jurisdictions kind of things, they used to get opportunities with these kinds of firms. Okay, because they have clients who are in this domain, and they have to work on deals which span across the borders. So now if they have people who have a knowledge of these kind of areas, they will welcome it. Okay, but if you're looking only that we will give, like, whatever is in our domain as far as India is concerned, it may not be an attractive proposition for them. Okay, now you go to a UK firm and you tell them that I know how to enter a UAE market, I know how things work in UAE, I know how things work in China, and I know how things work in India. And then you see what difference it makes for you when you make this kind of statement. It changes the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, in fact, Komal,
is it not going to get one thing in, one person who has that kind of skills?
Yeah, in fact, whenever students come to us, and first of the thing they ask, I want a job in this law firm, so what should I do? I always tell them that your perception should be that how can you be so good? How can you have such good skills? And that is the idea of 𝗨𝗁 𝗂, that how can you have such good skills that when you come before them, they're like, oh my God, this person, I am paying him less than what the value that person is adding. They don't have to train you. You already know most of the work that you have done. And that is exactly how you develop career in anything, not just international business law.
Thanks. Yes. So yeah, international business consultants also will be looking for people. And guys, this is very scarce. Okay, it is not available easily at all, because heretofore, like before this, we used to have only really huge companies that would go international, and then law firms or people above a certain size, advising these kind of companies. Now all sorts of business are going international. Okay, so the requirement is really huge, and people do not have these expertise. Okay, so you have to provide this, you have to make this statement that you have this, and then you can be welcome in this, because they can't find people who have this kind of knowledge. So why is this, like, why is everybody on, or this rushing on to becoming really global? Why is there suddenly that we want to go out of India, okay, or we want to have things out of India? So greater revenue potential, they have identified that it we can earn far higher, in outer markets, while doing the things, keeping the sourcing from India, providing the services from India. And if we are supplying it to people outside, then there is definitely a far higher potential. Okay, and they reach the certain level, then they get saturated in India. That's one point. But now they are not even waiting for that. They see the revenue out, they will just venture out, because if they see the revenue, that's the first way that they will want to scale. A multinational brand presence benefits the consumer perception in the home country. Naturally, when you see that XYZ is existing in 2, 3 different countries of the world, people here are in awe anyway. And they're able to attract international customers without substantial inputs in terms of R&D or marketing, due to existing reputation in the home country. And this really happened, we'll see in the factors which are driving R&D or technology, is something which was a miss earlier, in olden days. So the way larger companies would go is that first they'll begin with a technical collaboration, and then they will start to provide high quality products with the help of that technical collaboration in the country. They will develop a reputation in the home country, and then they will go global. Okay, so this is what used to happen. They get to opportunity to introduce newer variations of the existing products. So like that XYZ product works here in this form, but if you change the form a little bit, it's going to work in other countries far better. Okay, so if you you make a variation. So for example, this Haldirams, these are sold in 80 countries with packet printed in several different languages. So they are high revenue in a lot of different countries, and wherever there will be NRI presence or Indian presence, this will sell. They get access to a bigger and diverse pool of talent. So, like we said, remote work anywhere. You can engage people from anywhere in the country, and you will be able to get this kind of access to a bigger pool of talent. When I was moving from Ireland to India, um, one of my employers was actually very concerned about being an employer in India at that point of time. And then compared to it, there was a relatively smaller tech company. They had employees in 3 different countries working from home completely remotely. Okay, so this is how this will happen. They have a much bigger and diverse pool of talent. They're not hesitant to use this. International structuring often comes with an added advantage of better tax benefits than the home countries. No doubt about it. Like, we have high amount of taxes that are applicable on the companies, despite being reduced, it's still in a higher zone. Okay, and we have complex tax requirements that need to be completed. So people will say, why not go and settle there? We're gonna do really easy people go and set up a nest somewhere in Delaware. Okay, so highly compliance friendly jurisdictions, they'll just go and set up there. So there is a better advantage that they get out of it. The cost of manufacturing, net cost of manufacturing is substantially lower in certain countries. So like, naturally where you have entities like this, like the fashion brands that we have, Gap and Zara and all of these people will be manufacturing their products in Bangladesh. And then like, the likes of let's say Arrow or something, they'll be manufacturing, or they'll be having their products manufactured in China. Okay, you lift up and you will see this. So that is the thing. It saves a cost. And it also saves yearly cost of travel by setting up the business close to major businesses in the world. So you know that some country is a hub, okay, and there are presence of a lot of different businesses there. So you set up your entity there, and then you are present to a huge market. I used to see this actually in Dublin, when the double Irish tax structure was very like used throughout. You will have offices of Google, Apple, Microsoft, everything like present in Ireland. They'll be there. Now if some entity or some business is actually supplying to these kinds of entities, okay, then they will work, they'll set up there where there is a presence of major businesses. So you don't have to like travel, you just get like all the businesses which are present there in that place. Like you will have so many in financial institutions present in Dubai, so you can get like access to that. What is driving this kind of trend? So like
So
I
Komal,
said earlier, yeah, yes.
sorry to interrupt. So just a small thing before. So we are already 1 hour into the workshop. We are basically setting the background so that what we are about to discuss in the next part, you
Yeah.
understand. So I just want a quick check. What have we discussed? What have you learned in last 1 hour? Because we have to power pack 2 hours left.
Yes.
So what have you learned in this 1 hour?
We want to move. We
Something.
want to talk about the hardcore. What should you do? What should I
What
do?
what should I do? So this is
Yeah.
like basic, that before we tell you what you should do, you need to know that what
Why
is
should
out
you do?
there.
What should you do?
Yeah.
That's what we are saying. Why should you do? What should you do? So are you getting that? Why should you do that?
So as what have we discussed right now? Or something new that you have learned? Anything new that you have learned in last 1 hour? Anything?
What are the career options in IBL? Scope of work? What should we work on?
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So
What
what's
international business lawyering really means? Thank you,
means?
Prasanna. Yeah.
So something
So
new that you have learned?
nothing new from
I
Naina.
know.
Okay.
Okay.
That it's really important to be familiar with international business laws, how contract law works internationally, okay, charms of IL, ground realities of IL. So what it is all about and why is it happening? Okay, why are we talking of international business law and we are not talking of litigation? Okay, and we are not talking of corporate and we
Yeah,
are
because
not
it is
talking
very
of any other
important.
thing.
It is very important to tell you that why we are talking about international business law today. Before we go, that what's out there for you.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. So I think it's a fair degree of understanding.
And you're going to learn a lot more. See, we just had to make sure everybody, since 70% are students, they need to know what we are talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So, like, because there is no technology, we are developing our own technology. That's why you will see that there are entities which have like developed in indigenous technologies, and they are having or providing this to multiple different countries. Okay, that's why this international expansion is happening. Okay? They find buyers at multiple places around the globe. Okay, because they have that kind of technology which is used around the globe. This is one entity, Postman. To mention about this, they have a cloud technology which is really useful in when people are working in teams. They had begun this as a project. They just put it up on the website on how these things can work. People started hitting that like anything, downloading like anything, and people paid them despite they had put it up for free. So this is what happens. So there is technology. They're using the newfound ability to work entirely remotely very well, reducing the costs, and they are fast discovering structures. And this is where lawyers can really, really come along, right? Guys, like you can plan out the things. So they are discovering structures which work for them, and they're not bothered whether it is in India or abroad. So flipping, like where you have your holding companies in foreign jurisdictions, or SPAC, like a special purpose acquisition company, which will let you go public out of India. Like they'll go public for you and then you merge with them. So you are out of all the SEBI regulations that are needed, and then you are merged into that entity which already has a public presence out of India. So that's the kind of thing. And why do we think that lawyers with knowledge of international business laws would have a very bright career ahead? Why is this something that will work for people? Because as we said, there are very few people who have this expertise, and the market is growing rapidly. It's not a place where you can have competition from senior people who have been there since generations. These people will say that always people who are there in the field since ages take the cake. This is not something where you have people who are there since 15 years, 20 years, or things like that. Okay, because this is relatively new trend that you are going global fast. Okay, and if you are able to gain the skills, then you will be able to make the mark. You're not really competing against people who are there since 20 years. And this is where the money is coming. So you are seeing that there were 34 unicorn startups in India in 2020. This is expected to grow to 50, and that is like NASCOP, so tech startups. Okay, and these entities are using investor money to expand. So when they grow in size, then they will need people who are in-house lawyers with expertise. Okay, and they will be willing to spend also. Okay, so this is the world discovered the ultimate power of working completely online, and this is what it's a profile we really want to show you. Imagine that you can be advising a US startup on their UAE entry while sitting in India, and it looks impossible to you. Here is a profile that actually does that. Okay, we had invited Kenneth in our last webinar, and he is a person who kind of works like an outsourced in-house counsel to many entities who want to set up in UAE. So this is possible for Kenneth. Is in Kerala right now. He's working from a town in Kerala, and he is actually advising companies which are based in which want to enter into or which want to set up in UAE. So just think of this. This is the opportunity that's possible for you. This is what is possible. People are doing that. It looks like impossible, but people are doing this.
And at a pretty young age,
Yeah.
relatively new law school, no specific this, just sheer on the basis of talent. That's it.
Yeah. So that is, Kenneth. And what is the work that you can do? You can work as a freelancer, you can work as an associate, you can work as an in-house legal counsel. So what do you do? Freelancing, what will you be doing in this work? So you will be supporting the Indian entities to make a market entry in other jurisdictions, or you will be helping foreign law firms or startups through paralegal work. Okay. This is what you will be doing as a freelancing opportunity. And they abound because of the ability to work and get things done remotely. Okay. So we already discussed this. So these can be availed, and this is really important. You can avail of freelancing or paralegal opportunities even as law students or really young lawyers, because like in this situation, you're not actually going out to the court and being present before the court. People will say that I need a license to work in that jurisdiction. For paralegal work, you don't, because you're not going to actually present before the court. You're going to support people who are presenting before the court, or you're going to support startups which are in that domain. So you can do this even as a law student because it is paralegal work. Okay. So this is like, some profiles that we can actually show you. These are the people who are providing this kind of services. Okay. So this is like for a lawyer who is providing this service, I will register your company in Dubai free zone, 100% foreign owned. Okay. Or here, like, develop a go-to-market strategy for your startup. I will develop a go-to-market strategy. Okay. These are the people who are kind of providing these services. Okay.
And see, when you're doing these advisory services, that you don't even have to be a law graduate. You can start doing this paralegal work right from your second year and third year of law school. So
Because this is advisory work.
this is advisory work.
Write contracts, terms and conditions, privacy policy, and any legal document. Okay. And these are not extraordinary people who have like fantastic backgrounds in law firms or things like that.
They're from very normal colleges. They've just done what we always tell us people to do. They've identified a gap and they've worked on developing those skills.
So is an advocate, corporate law litigant, or Upwork freelancer from New Delhi, India. Okay. So look at that. Like, he's top rated with this kind of success. And he's charging $30 per hour. So now think of that, $30 per hour if he's working. What is the kind of remuneration that he can actually get? Okay. And this is the things that he has completed. Look at that.
And just see the clients, how they are across. It's not Indian clients. Clients are from
Yeah.
everywhere.
Okay. So you do this, like, it will, this is where people are going right now. People are doing this and earning. They are earning $30 per hour. So think of that. Okay.
Yeah, this
Legal
one
writing
is
and
very
legal
interesting.
consulting. Sorry?
This one is very interesting. See,
Yeah.
620 reviews, the amount of money, to see the different kind of gigs he offers.
Yeah. Can you see this? He will register trademark. He will provide business agreements, contracts. He will provide DMCA takedown notices.
And
This
there
is
are
something people
620
think of.
reviews. There are 620 reviews. Komal, can you just show his education and qualifications? It would be towards
Yeah.
yeah.
See, this is the background of this person. Look at that. Okay. Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth
IP
University. And he is
University.
graduated in 2015. Okay.
Now
And he's
just
done his LLB in 2019, in fact.
yeah.
Look at that.
And see the reviews from countries just on your screen. One is from US, other is from Germany. This is Canada. This is what? Isn't he an international business lawyer? That's how you start.
Guys, can you see what is possible for you? Just say, yeah, if you're seeing this, if you're seeing this. Are you seeing what is possible for you? People are doing this. Just say, yeah, if you're seeing this as an opportunity. Right? This is what you can do. Okay? Brilliant.
See, so that's very important. All the things that you were talking and telling us that you are hyping things, you are saying things which are not possible. We have shown you it with proof right now that that's what can happen. Nothing about education, just skills and starting early.
Okay. So how to solve legal issues for your business and startups. These are another like you will find so many opinions are charged for 5,330. Okay.
पता है आज यही हुआ. I was trying to find कि हम कौन सी profile डालें. Then there were so many. Then I was like, which one to choose? Then I was like, let's select 5 or 6. You can go back after this. एक काम करना. You go to Fiverr, you go to this and see how many people are doing this work. And don't stop there. After that, go and see in other countries how many people are doing the startup, how many people are working with MNCs. आपको रियलाइज होगा इंडिया में तो इतना ज्यादा गैप है. देयर आर नॉट मेनी पीपल हु आर डूइंग इट एंड दोज हु डू इट सो वेल because there's not a competition.
Startup legal foreign entry in India. This is another thing that people can advise on. If you are advising people on entry into India. Okay, but that is a different category altogether. Okay. So इस पे तो फिर भी आपको लोग मिल जाएंगे if you're looking at people like Rajpreet, ठीक है, जिसके whose clients are outside and the payments are from outside, most importantly. Okay. So you can work as an outsourced in-house counsel. We already saw Kenneth's profile sitting in Kerala, in a town in Kerala, providing services to companies wanting to go to UAE. Okay. Working with foreign law firms, business advisory firms, or domestic law firms which are specializing in foreign expansion and entry. So these firms have these kind of like, schemes, vacation schemes, which you can use and have a look at. Okay. And in-house roles, we're going to share like, some in-house roles where you will realize that, there is some element of international business law dealing all the time. वो है ही, मतलब रहेगा ही if you are in companies like this. Okay. So look at that. This is kind of a little bit senior role, 5 years plus. But if you look at the work that they are looking for here, then you have to support business development initiatives, okay, and including negotiation and execution. And it will be like, in multiple jurisdictions. And then you have to look at processes, policies, and training, including those related to FCPA. So very clearly, you will be working on legislations which have, cross-border implications. Okay. This is one thing. This is a relatively junior position with JP Morgan. Abhi iska spec, have a look at the spec of this. Okay. And you can think of like these are multiple opportunities that are there on the JP Morgan side. But if you look at like, each of these opportunities, kahin na kahin you will find that there is always a communication that you have with people who are cross borders or who are sitting in different regions. So look at that. It is an EMEA team. So they will always have things which are like, region specific, and you're working with everybody in that specific region. Okay. So APEC markets, they have all of these regions. Okay. Any opportunity that you open with this, for example, if I open like, this APEC spec that is there for the JP Morgan. Okay. You will see that it involves communication with different lawyers. So can you see this? It has communication working closely with the lawyers in Australia, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore. Okay. Can you see how relevant the multi-jurisdictional exercise is even in this kind of roles with multinational? Guys, can you see these elements? Just say yes if you can see this. We saw Rajpreet's profile. Now these are in-house roles. These are roles with companies. Can you see the multi-jurisdictional elements here in these kind of roles? Right? Now, how much can you earn in these different roles? So let's see here. This is just ambition box. Okay. And like we said, even initial positions with the likes of JP Morgan can involve multi-jurisdictional work that is there. You have to be trained. You have to be working on that. And look at the salaries here and the salary gaps. Okay. If you're looking at JP Morgan Chase, the salary is 8.6, while for a similar position with these entities, okay, it is 2.9 and 2.8 lakhs. So the minute you get into this zone where you are working with more countries around the globe, it always hikes.
And yet this is extremely relevant if you are in your first, second, third, fourth year of law school, or even fifth year, and you've just started, because you still have time to build that profile.
And this is one thing which we really wanted to show. Like, this is a survey that we got. Okay. It's a relatively smaller subset, but even then have a look at that. Okay. So average salary of the employee, okay, is 25.9 lakhs based on what they are getting, okay, based on the surveys that they have. So you are asking people in that zone who can be in this zone. Okay. And what now, let's come to know what should I do. I want this work now. Okay. I want to have international business law related work. काम तो करना है. क्या चाहिए उसके लिए?
आप बताइए. Let's pause for a bit and ask everybody कि क्या करना चाहिए. We have already discussed this. What skills do you need?
This is where we are coming to Labdhi. Training sources. We're coming to that. So what skills do you need? Yeah, yes, knowledge, but what kind of? It's a very generic statement. Quick network building, okay? Will international moot court competitions help?
Yeah, we will tell you. We will tell you how they will help.
Okay. Perfect knowledge of law.
Nobody has perfect knowledge of law, people. You need good knowledge of law.
License to practice, not in all situations. Do you think Rajpreet has license to practice in Germany and US? Not in all cases. You don't need that. Okay. Drafting skills and knowledge of international laws. Well, yeah, it is there. Okay. How is law interpreted in different countries? First of all, what are the laws in different countries? That's what you need to know, isn't it? So let's reveal it now, yes? What do they need?
Yeah, I think we should start now on this.
So what are the technical skills you need? Okay, we are going to look at what is technical. This is the thing, strategy. You should know how to frame, okay, from planning. So you are selecting a country where someone will go, where someone will foray, the business structure that they will adopt, what is IP protection, and right down to the enforcement stage if there is an issue. So you must also know कि if the money is locked there, money पैसा फंस गया तो कैसे निकालना है? Okay, how do you recover that? Okay, and then the dispute resolution mechanisms for sure. यहाँ पे people find difficulty to get into the zone of money recovery. You will have to know this. Okay. Negotiation skills, brilliant negotiation skills. So lawyers and CS can bridge the gap between investors and business advisors. This is huge because we are saying that people who will invest in these kind of companies, okay, and the business advisors in other countries, you have to be someone who's able to negotiate that, okay, so that the business whom you are advising is able to earn really well, okay. And you have to negotiate terms and conditions in such a manner with the investor and with the advisor in both the cases. Okay, so that you are able to get the objective and you are able to get the benefit. The business is able to get the benefit. Drafting and reviewing skills, inevitable. So you have to have the ability to draft the transaction documents and understand the implications of the terms while reviewing them. Now you will be working on contracts where one party will be Indian, one party will be out of India. Okay, and you have to think of implications in that case. Liaising skills, you will have to work with regulators in foreign jurisdictions. You will have to work. You will have to work with the government to get the entity, get licenses on time when you want to work. Okay. So when the business wants to get into start something very specific and you are required to get the approval from the government, this is something that will come to your help.
For
Excellent.
example,
Yes, yes.
so for example, suppose you're advising somebody, somebody who is entering into a different country, a food business, say they manufacture chips. So what kind of regulators on top of your head can you think of they will be looking for? Give at least 2 to 3 examples. That if you're advising somebody, then who are the regulators for entering Germany they will be looking for?
Food quality like 𝗵𝗱𝗵𝗀𝗵𝗂.
Very good.
What else?
That reminds me, if you know, 𝗲𝗿𝗵 was penalized heavily because they because I think they had too many spices by a food regulator in US. So that kind of challenges you have. Other
Yeah.
than Food Regulation Authority.
Other than that, what else? Packaging. Okay.
Amazing.
Environmental health standards.
Very good, Sneha. Very good.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. That's like really something which nobody thinks of immediately.
Yeah. Trade regulation. You have to find out, you will have to know what works in that. For example, let's go into this. For example, in US, let's say suppose it's in some state you are in existence. Where do you have to go if you want to incorporate an entity? What is the office you have to go to? Anyone is aware? What is the office in US? Like how we have a registrar of companies here. Okay. Whom do we have to go to? SEC? Really?
I know about the UK. Who is going to tell us?
Who is in UK? Okay, tell.
Monish knows about the UK. Tell us, Monish.
What is the place where you incorporate a company in UK? Monish? Yeah, it is the company's house, correct.
Very good.
It's called company's house, correct. So in US, guys, it is the respective secretaries of states, okay, that you approach for the purposes of starting or incorporating an entity in that place. Okay. So like this, you will have to know what is a relevant regulator. You have to understand the legal system of different countries. You have to know how to find, read and interpret law. So Abhi, like how we said, Germany and food business. Okay, you will say US and tech business. Okay, you will say UK and let's say you want to start a restaurant there. Okay, or let's say it's Singapore and you want to have a telecom related company there. Then how are you going to go about it? So you will have to know the legal system and the different regulators. Litigation skills. Yeah. So you have to understand how the enforcement works, okay, in different jurisdictions. What will you do if there are disputes, if somebody initiates legal action against you? Interpretation skills, this is very much essential, and I'll tell you how. Like if you are looking at DTAAs and if you're looking to take the benefit of foreign tax credit, you must be able to make sense of DTAA very, very well, because the way it works is first you pay tax in both the jurisdictions and then you take a credit of it. So you must be very clear that I am going to get credit of this, and that's how you shape your transaction. Okay.
And बहुत simple सी चीज है ना कि if you're working or advising on some other country, a lot of regulations will be there जहाँ पे you will find very less precedents जो नए laws आएंगे. So you need to know how that has to be interpreted. You need to be able to read the law. So that is why this is a very important skill. और उससे पता है क्या होगा, when you have read different laws, like for instance food regulation laws of different countries, your interpretation skill even when you will apply to India will be so sharp, because you know
Yes.
this is so different than other laws.
Yes. The way you read things after that will unbelievably change, because and this happens, I can tell you this of personal experience, that when you are reading things or law, immediately it will strike कि ये नहीं है यहाँ पे. So you immediately you notice a gap that is there, and that is something which is really valuable. You notice that this is not covered or this is not used. Very quickly you notice this. Soft skills. Networking and marketing skills. Yes, you have to develop your own social media presence. Now, how do you think people actually generate and create clients? I mean, unless you have that kind of a presence, and you have, see, if you don't have anything, you don't know anything in another country, how will you locate people in that country? You will go to the legal 500 list. You will see that which blog or which people are followed the most, who is listening to their advice the most. Okay, so it, this is where you will come to, like, where you are not, and same way people will do this. Okay, so if someone is looking for people who has multi-jurisdictional skills in India, then they will see who is present there, who is visible. Someone is not visible will not, like, work at all. So professional communication skills, it's incredibly important, because in international business there are real cultural issues. You're working with people of a completely different country. You will have to know this kind of communication skills. By the way, let's put this, like, how many of you have have interacted with people and social media or whatever, interacted with people in other countries? How many of you interacted? And this can be in lots of different ways. Many people have interacted with people in other countries. Is there a difference in how things work, the way they talk, the way they, communicate? Much different from what you do in India. Very different, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because before your law this comes first. सबसे पहला, this my senior used to say कि तुम्हारा law और ये सारी चीजें ना बहुत बाद में आने वाली. तुम client ना will judge you in first 10 minutes the way you can talk, whether you're an intelligent person or not, how you speak things.
Right? So communication and ability to communicate in other countries, have understanding of the local consultants who perform the work in that countries. You will have to network. You'll have to find out which people are doing the work, and this generation is capable of doing this very, very well. Like, how many of you go on to gaming channels and locate people in other countries? You don't know who they are, but you go, they are in not based in India, right? And, like, you go and work with them in there. So, like, you have to use that for, like, consult. You have to use that for your professional level also. You have to go out and network with people in other countries. Obviously, the way of communication will become very, very different there, but then you have to network with the people in other countries, which this generation can do. We can do it. It's very much possible. Yeah, the approach is very different, and sometimes I'll give you a personal experience. I was speaking with a client in one of my my employment, and like, out of the blue, like he came to know that I was a mother and all, and out of the blue the question is, how's the bambino? And I'm like, what is he asking? You know, and you come to know that bambino is a common term that people use in that destination for a child. That's what they call it. So, and you were looking like, completely clueless about how the things work. So you have to get you to understand what they are talking about. Like you will be telling them that give me a resolution. They have no clue. Like, and you taught, their language, you're going to tell them, give me a unanimous consent. Yes, that they understand. So in different countries, the language or the thing differs. Okay. So you have to be able to network with these people. Coordination, monitoring, and liaising with external consultants, very, very much essential. And this is necessary for your own purpose where you are advising your client. You will have to have the ability to simplify complex legal issues, okay, and communicate with people from non-legal backgrounds.
So in fact, when I started my independent practice, so I started working with a lot of startups. तो वही वाला चीज था, one of the biggest challenge and one of the thing which I hated most and I was really bad was I knew that this is the right, आपको criminal complaint file करनी है, आपको registration करना है and all, but every time they'd be like, सर कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा आप क्या बोल रहे हो, आप कैसी language में बात करते हो, it goes above our head. So it's a skill where you have to simplify the options before it, because I always used to be like कि देखो ये चीज इस लॉ के अंडर ऐसा है, फिर ये सेक्शन के अंडर ऐसा है, एंड यू हैव टू गो लाइक दिस. दे वर लाइक नहीं हमको ये सब नहीं है, यू टेल अस कि इससे क्या होगा. सो यू हैव टू बी understand that how to put those pros and cons in a simplified manner to businesses, and that comes only with practice. When somebody checks you, writes you, some third person evaluates what you're writing, that is a skill that takes time to develop.
I also have a personal experience in this, Yash. Like I was working out of India, and then the term that I use, that I need to get apostolization done. And then the finance person is that, what is apostolization? It looks like a huge kind of word. And I have to tell, I have to go and get the stamp of the DFA. Then he gets it. Then he gives me the money that is necessary to do. So you have to be able to simplify the things.
इनफैक्ट व्हेन वी आर विद पीपल ऑफ ऑल प्रोफेशन, ये हो जाती है हम सभी की आदत की, फायर्स ऑफ लॉ स्टूडेंट्स, यू आर इंटरेक्टिंग विद लॉयर्स, लॉ टीचर्स, एवरीथिंग, यू स्टार्ट टॉकिंग लीगल लैंग्वेज, प्राइमा फेसी ऐसा लगता है दैट यू डोंट हैव अ गुड केस एंड द क्लाइंट इज स्टेयरिंग एट योर फेस.
So Abhi, we knew the skills, okay? So how are we going to build the profile to get the skills? Okay?
Most important part now.
All the things that are needed here, it's like knowledge, skills, recognition, and track. But how do you make a roadmap? Okay, Abhi, right now we are, let's say, in X year of law school, and we're looking to work, like at a certain place. How do you build a roadmap or a path, okay, to a career in international business law? Very, very important. And this is what we will do, like how to work. So first of all, the decision or the thing that you have to think of is, what is your final goal? Okay. Are you looking to provide freelance work? Are you looking to work with multinationals? Are you looking to work in international law firms? What kind of impact are you going to have? Like what kind of things are you looking to have on the clients or on, like, on the people, on your employers? What is your final goal? So after, like, discussing this, that the opportunities that we have, how many people actually really want to work on the freelance opportunities? Can I have a call, a kind of, like, understanding? I want to work on the freelance opportunity. How many people wants to work on freelancing opportunities and work for people outside the country?
That's the ultimate aim, right? You can travel while working. One day you are working in Goa, other time you're working in some other country, and still your work is going on.
So Shivani, this works for people who have passed out too, because we are only trying to make a roadmap from where we are right now to where we want to be. So first of all, we have to affix a destination, right? Okay. So now how many people want to work for multinational companies? I want to work for multinational companies. How many people are in that zone? I want to work for MNCs.
Just write the complete sentence. I want to work for MNC. It's okay if you want to do both of them. Write that.
Okay. People want to work for multinational companies. Okay. MNC or freelancer, Shivani wants to do both of them. I want to work with MNC, not for it. Which means you will be freelancing basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only freelance. Yes. Okay. How many of you want to work with international law firms? How many people want to work with international law firms? Quite a few people want to work with international law firms as well. In fact, one of our founders had this aim, and he shared about that many times. International law firms. So we can see, like, most people are divided in this zone. Like, equal number of people want to freelance, work with MNCs or with international law firms, right? So you decide what is your final goal. Okay, that's the first step that you have. Now you make a note of what do you have to do to learn. What do these people do? We already discussed what is the kind of work that these entities do. What work will you get when you are working with them? So now you have to make a list of what do you need to learn if you want to reach that destination, whether you are working as a freelancer or with a MNC or with a law firm. What is the kind of knowledge and skills you will need? Okay, this is the second thing that you have to plan out and think about. Okay, we also discussed all that, like, we talked of what is the knowledge and skills that are required. So you will have to choose your category and plan out the skills accordingly. Now, what do you need to do to build a proven track record before these people? As we saw for freelancing person, someone who sees this kind of profile will very clearly say that, okay, this person has done so much work. Let me give him, he has a track record. He's built a track record, right? You go JP Morgan company and you work with their different offices. You put that down, you have a track record. You build a track record where you are working with that. You work with the likes of Allen and Overy, Baker McKenzie, you have a track record. But in order to enter into these places, what do you need to do? Like, you want to enter into these places. For that also, you need an extent of track record. Okay. How are you going to get connected with the opportunities? Where do I find them? Where do I find international law firms? Where do I find multinational companies? Where do I find freelancing opportunities? We have shared this number of times. Like freelancing opportunities, we have a webinar up on the 𝗨𝗂𝗂 website where we have discussed a lot of different platforms which actually provide you freelancing opportunities. Okay, multinational companies, we know, like if you go to job sites, you will get that in that, but you have a method of locating startups which are going to go multinational. You can look at getting through angel networks. You can look at getting through listings of startups which have products which are in this zone. Okay. How will you connect with potential clients and employers? Okay. So first of all, you have to make yourself visible to them. Unless you are visible, you're not going to be able to differentiate and you are not going to be able to reach out. Okay. People will be, this is somebody from somewhere reaching out to me. Okay, so you have to work on developing your profile, your brand accordingly. And we actually provide you elaborate training in our courses on how to do that. Okay, every single exercise you do, every single assignment you do has this element in it in 𝗨𝗂𝗂. And this is not just the this is not just one thing. Across the courses we have elements like this which will talk of how you can increase your visibility, or how you can create your brand when you are talking with potential clients or employers. Okay, there's an elaborate training on how this can be done. What will be your networking strategy? Okay, do you think that you will be able to do this like you put massive applications to the MNCs or like international law firms, or you just like put up something in your profile up and you put in the remote platforms and it works out? What is your way to network with the people? How can you effectively use different forms of networking with different people? And networking is not attending conferences and exchanging cards. It's not that anymore. It's not that anymore. Okay, so there are different ways in which you can actually network with your potential employers and clients. This is also an elaborate part of training, because we realize that increasing law skills or legal skills is not just enough. Like, it needs mentoring, it needs guidance on how the networking strategy is going to be. We actually counsel our students on this. Will you use social media for this? Are you going to go offline and meet people? Are you going to use social media? What are you going to do about it? How will you grow this? Okay, these are the things you have to think of when you are building a network. Okay. How much time do you need to do this? Okay, let's say in the next 2 months, will I be able to get X number of skills and network with X number of relevant people? Okay, how much time do I need? Do I need 1 year to do this? Okay, what is the time that I need to be present? What can I do right now? Okay, that will increase or improve my abilities. These are some things which you put in the roadmap. When you develop, you write down a roadmap towards this. These are the things that you think of and you actually write down. Now, this is one thing. How much of this can you do on your own? So I'll say that I'll start researching, I'll start working on it. I'll start looking all over the social media where I can find clients, where I can find MNC employers. I'll put up profiles on all job sites. How much of it can you do on your own? And where are you going to struggle? So, because we have dealt with many different students and we know where you can face struggle. It's simply not possible for you to gain this kind of skills on your own. Okay, simply researching and finding out information is not going to help at all. You will have everything laid down, and how internet it. This is like having some real physical problem and looking for a medicine on the internet. That's how this is. Okay, so it's not going to be available like that. There'll be multiple different answers. You don't know which works. Okay, you can get lost if you are trying to do this. Completely, you will be lost in the internet. You will not know where to find a way. You can gain it by working with someone, but in that route, naturally, you have to put in a few years, either through freelancing or in an in-house role. And then, not to even in in-house roles, no one has the time to sit you down and train you. Okay, it is just impossible. Like, I have experienced this. There will be managers who don't even have the time to type their own emails. Forget about sitting you down and training you. You have to hit the ground running. But even bigger problem, okay, is that without this, you won't even be able to get into these firms. And someone who has this, and as we saw, people are out to get these kind of skills. People are already present. Do you think that it is going to remain hidden for a very long period of time? Okay. So people are already developing these skills, and someone who has gained knowledge of these skills will beat you fair and square. Okay, because they have this. Now they will just imagine now, like you go and you speak to an international law firm and you are saying, I know everything about India. And then compared to you, there is someone next who says that I know India, UAE, China, Japan, Brazil. Okay. So whom do you think they will select? They will beat you. It is as simple as that. And if you take on the work like that on Upwork without the required knowledge and skills, how do you think the guy got that kind of stars, okay, or that kind of reviews? Okay, so if you take on the work without the required knowledge and skills, you will not only end up losing a client, but you will lose credibility. And then after that, you can't proceed. Like, you will be stopped there. Once your credibility is gone, lost. Okay, simply someone else will take the assignment and you won't be able to move forward from there. So you cannot proceed without structured training in this. And then structured training. Okay, let's look like, you search for things. I want to learn international business laws. What courses or what things are available to me? It's not available easily at all. Okay, you will have to course through a lot of courses, resources, even to get very few basic elements that we talked about, like contract drafting, cross-border contracts. Very few basic elements. If you want to understand, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, to get training, a structured training on this.
And especially also what happens is a lot of different jurisdiction will have language problem because the laws are written in different languages. Plus they have a very different way of writing. So you do not know the local resources, right? For instance, if I am an Indian, I know that I can find all the relevant judgments on India Qanun and how I can find it. But when you're going to a different country and you do not have any training about the basics and you don't even know the basics, it becomes very challenging to start.
Okay, and where are you going to slip now? Okay, where will you, कहाँ पे ये stop हो जाएगा और कहाँ पे fail हो सकती है? So like, you sign up for the wrong thing. You think that there is this MBA which looks really glorious and it's like, teaching me everything that is needed. Okay, there is no course which covers these skills like, it at one place. Okay,
Spend half an hour after this, try Googling, go to the 100th
yeah,
page also and share with us if you can find anything that is even remotely giving you these skills. MBA, LLM, diplomas, anything at all across.
anything at all. And look at the cost of that also, by the way, when you are
Yeah.
speaking. Okay. So people will think that they can wing it on their own, and then after several months they realize that they have not made enough progress. So many number of times it happens with the students who call out and reach to us that I tried this, I tried that, I tried so many different things, but like, there isn't any significant movement in where I wanted to be, from where I was and where I wanted to be. This is a roadmap, remember. You have to progress on the road. Now, if you are going round and round in circles, which is what will happen if you are winging it out on your own, you're not making progress. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like, it happens if you relying on your own willpower to learn a new subject or even get it, I like, you'll never manage to do it. But if you have a tutor or a coach who's sitting on your head, you will see this like, difference, immediate difference, because they are sitting on your head and they are getting things done from you. I believe that all of us have seen this. Just try these things that, you will go to a gym and work by yourself and try getting a trainer, and then you see what difference it makes. Okay, or try like, learning something by yourself and try taking guidance and see how, like, it has to be that sheer structure of it which will make you do the things. Otherwise, it is very easy to give up, okay, in between. And you will see a progress in a month of signing up. Okay, we're going to share something with you. If you go through that route, okay, you will see a visible difference, okay, that I was here when I started and I'm here now in 1 month, okay. So we have a money back. We're going to talk about that later. So even learning the skills somehow is not enough. You need to build a track record, and that also requires a disciplined and concerted effort. I mean, try writing a blog. Okay, how many people you know? Even they started with one blog and they said ki her week I will put one entry, and how often that continued and how soon that died down. Okay, so if you have an institutional setup like 𝗨𝗂, we have a proper setup which is kind of going to uh, train you on in a comprehensive manner. It's not just legal skills where you will see progress. You will see your progress in developing your brand. You will see your progress in ability to communicate with people. You will see a progress in your drafting and your language skills. People with us have revamped their language skills. I'll tell you that because of the setup that they are in, things have changed massively for them. We have a team of 10 people who are just dedicatedly working to bring the right opportunities and connect you with the jobs and clients. Okay, this is the setup that you have. And even when you have a knowledge, it's hard for clients to trust that you know the thing. So you want to build a track record. Okay, it's if you approach and go to people, unless you actually have that kind of clients, but before, in order to crack your first client or your first employer, you will need something very visible on your CV to say, or to say, like, to tell the person who's hiring you, okay, that there is credibility here. Okay, so we are going to give this certification from a US university. Okay, we help you to find your first few real life opportunities to apply this knowledge. Now, who in the world is going to skill you and also help to, like, get the opportunities to apply it? Okay, very few have that combination. Like, you look for courses, people will be there who have where you actually otherwise it will be institutionalized. It will be like a campus placement that they have. That's the kind of thing, but for that you pay like a crazy amount of money. You pay certain lakhs in order to get that kind of thing, right? So most people struggle to create a profile on Upwork, and it can get rejected if it's not done properly, and land freelance work because the clients are not convinced with the pitches. And we
Yeah.
will coach you actually on how to land this. Okay, so you can be in this zone where you land these gigs. It'll be like, it's an extent of hand holding that we provide. I can confirm this as a co-founder. Nobody provides this kind of hand holding that 𝗨𝗂 does in today. Like, the level of mentoring and counseling that you get on all of these things is incredible. We will sit you down and work with you.
In fact, the biggest problem with 𝗨𝗂 or internal problem is not that we do not talk to students. The problem happens that five of us are talking to the same student. Student has reached out, and all five of us are talking to them. So the only thing we tell is that reach out to one person. That's it. That is the level of handholding. That is that whoever you will reach out, they will always be there to talk to you.
So doing these kind of international gigs will also serve you in a lot of different ways. So naturally you become more confident when you have done the work. And I was talking to one of my teammates, Abhishek, just a few days before. He was sitting down with one of the students and actually helping him through the first assignment that he got on Upwork on working something. So, and just imagine how he will feel when he has done that and we have sorted that and he has earned the money out of that. Okay, so you become more confident about handling international work. You build a network with international clients, okay, and other professionals. You can now see those stars in your profile. You build a track records that others do not have, making you a better candidate because it's visible that you did this. Now just imagine it's with support of Abhishek, this guy is going to do this assignment. When he puts that in his profile that I completed this for a client, what is the difference it will make when he was where he was before and where he did that? It's just a beginning for him. After that, he will be able to crack a lot of different clients who come with that service. Isn't it? That's the kind of confidence that you get because you've done it. It feels like I have done it. Now I can do this again for another person. You have more experience, credibility, and understanding of the work you are seeking. You know very well that you have done this. Now, whoever is looking for this, you will find, you'll be able to find the clients. That which is the one that I can take up and I can serve. Now, let's try to fix the gaps. There are some things that you can need in order to be able to do this. So there are the 10 tasks if you really want to work in the field of
And this I want responses from all of you, okay?
Yeah.
All of you have to tell that, can you do this? This is the test.
Okay. How many of you will be able to understand and explain the different modes of entry in any, in a specific country? Out of India, any country, pick up any country. Will you be able to explain what are the different modes of entry?
Everybody understands what we
mean.
means. Yeah, everybody understand what we means by mode of entry. When we are saying mode of entry, what are we referring to? What do we mean? Joint venture, yes. That's not the only thing. There are a lot of modes of entries.
So how many of you can say that what is a mode of, that, but we are talking of a specific destination and choose any one destination that is out of India, any one country out of India. Do you know how someone can enter that country? Yeah, business entry, but I'm talking of any one country. Just tell me any one country. I know how to enter this country. Do you have that? I know how to make a business entry. I know how to make a joint venture or merger in that country. Any one country, any country of your choice. Ajinkya, you know for Japan how to enter. Sheetal knows for UAE. You know how to enter these countries. Yeah, you know how to enter Africa probably because you're based in Africa. So then you have to talk of another country completely there.
Completely outside where you're based.
Completely outside where you are. That's what cross jurisdictional skills are about. Right? Very, very few people. Can you see?
Ajinkya knows about Japan. That's amazing, Ajinkya.
Yeah. And Sheetal knows about UAE. So two people.
Two people, huh? Just that. Very small fraction of number. Okay. And those two can vouch how difficult it is to understand the mode of entry. It's not a straightforward process.
What about this? List out business licenses and entity registration required for a business when it's looking to enter a specific country. Forget about being able to secure. Being listing out is going to be difficult. Can someone list out that if I want to be in this country, what's the license I need?
No.
Okay. Any one person here who can list this?
Well, I think it's going to be difficult. Let's just roll with it.
So that is the thing, locating right type of consultants in proposed countries of entry. But this is what you can become capable of, guys. It looks like who can be able to do this? It looks like a Superman skill right now, right? To how many of you these 10 things look like Superman skills? if I can do this, I will be like Superman. How many of you feel this? These are all the 10 things that we have. How many of you feel that if I can do this, it's like Superman, it's like a superpower? How many of you feels, how will it feel if you are able to do this? You know, all of this, forget about one out of the 10, all of that. It feels like a superpower, isn't it? I will feel great. People will feel great, of course.
Not only you will feel great, other will also think you're great. I can promise you, if you can do all of these.
Okay. Brilliant. So now what are you going to learn if you take the course in the first 2 months? First 2 months, okay? It is 6 months, but in the first 2 months, what are the skills or what are the things you're going to learn? The ability to advise businesses on the kind of disputes that they can encounter while going cross-border. What's the kind of what ifs that you will face if you're going out and if you are entering into another jurisdiction?
And these are across the businesses. It's not a particular sectoral business, but any sector. Whenever any client comes to you from a different sector, you'll be able to tell them that you have to look at these issues in this country. Imagine that.
The ability to navigate through different resources for understanding the legal system of a country. You will not know where to find it. Okay. In the first instance, you will not know that kahan pe dhoonde isko, like ki kahan milega. Like how do I find out about what is the legal system? Who's the tax authority for UK, for example? Who's a tax authority for US? Who's a tax authority for Japan? कहाँ से मिलेगा?
And we are
How do
not
you
talking,
find resources?
and we are not talking about the details you get on Wikipedia कि इस country में कितनी judicial stages हैं. We are talking about very specific things, that how the law operates, how the jurisdiction is. For instance, can you go to Wikipedia in India? Can somebody go to Wikipedia in India and talk about what kind of cases will come to commercial courts and what kind of cases will come to subordinate courts? No. Can you do it over internet? It doesn't happen. And remember, we have one of the best system of blogs because so many law students who are writing continuously. But in other countries, when you will search for laws, it's not going to be that easy.
The ability to advise businesses on the right mode for entering into a foreign market. Okay, for the jurisdictions that are there, you will be able to locate what is the correct place or where can you enter. Okay. Ability to negotiate a contract on behalf of your client, and someone who is going to teach you negotiation here is a faculty from Webster. She's an advisor to the United Nations. We're going to share the details of her profile, but that level of a person is going to teach you negotiations. Okay. The ability to draft and review different kinds of contracts that businesses may require while entering into a foreign market. What is the kind of contracts that you will require? Okay. The ability to identify the contract enforcement mechanism available in a country. How do you enforce the contracts in a country? Okay. This is what you will be exposed to. Now, what will happen after 6 months? You go through this course, you go through the kind of training that is there in this course, and what will happen after 6 months. Okay. And just imagine there is consistent counseling, consistent mentoring available to you. Okay. It's not like you join the course and you will have people behind your back all the time where you are struggling, where you are looking for help. It is not an easy course. Obviously, you will realize that it is not easy. Okay, we will make you work. Now, if you want to have Superman skills, you have to have that, like, the willingness to work for it. But at each stage, you will have people who are going to guide you through
Yeah.
it. So after 6 months, you can have a certification on international business law from a leading US university, which is more than 100 years old. You will have worked on international business expansion projects with a few startups, and their founders have left testimonials praising your contribution on your LinkedIn and Upwork profile.
Just
There is
imagine yourself doing this. Just imagine
yeah,
कि ये सब
like
हो रहा है आपके साथ. आपके पास एक international certification है. Your LinkedIn profile has this. Just think of those things.
okay, and it's not rocket science. Like, you need to have structured training. That's it. It looks like, but it's not rocket science. I'm telling you, like I said, right now one of the anchors is actually like sitting down and doing this, helping that. So he's working on an international business project right now. The one of the students is working on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to get, like, the reviews after that. So you have solid knowledge regarding 6 most common jurisdictions for international expansion. ओके अभी आज के डेट में कौन रेगुलेटर है पता नहीं है. आफ्टर 6 months you are going to have this kind of knowledge that you will know what is FDI and foreign exchange regulations, what are the import export regulations, and what are the things that apply in that situation. You will know about how IP registration and enforcement works. You will know how tax works in that jurisdiction. You will know how dispute resolution and enforcement works. Also, corporate governance you will come to know. Okay.
And Komal, just to add to that, so
Yeah.
basically, can we go back to previous slide?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So these are the things we have discussed in different courses. For instance, tax structuring. Most people, when they hear tax structuring, they get like scared ki kya hai, what is all this? But in our taxation course, students who are a second year law students, they learn tax structuring, they discuss tax structuring in fourth class. So it's no, these things are simplified. We do not throw sections and case laws on you. We teach you very practical manner in which this operates. Like anybody, even if you're not a lawyer, you'll be able to understand. And another thing with this course is that this course is also for MBAs and people who do not have a legal background. So if you are thinking that, oh my God, there are so many laws, how will I be able to cope up? Just imagine people who have not even gone to law school and who do not have background. That's the challenge we have. That we have promised them that you are going to understand all of these things.
Okay. So let's actually, like, we're going to come to the course details. People are asking for that. Let me work through that. Okay. Yes, there is a certification that is involved. That is from Webster.
International certification from
It's
Webster
an international
University.
certification from Webster University. Okay. So this is going to happen. You will understand international taxation, draft international contracts. You will know how to negotiate with vendors, suppliers, partners, while respecting their cultural sensitivities. And this can work even when you are not entering that specific jurisdiction, even if you're looking to just do business in that country and not even have a presence. Okay. So here, you have developed knowledge and expertise of international commercial arbitration, which is like now the mechanism that cross-border contracts are using. Okay, no one really wants to dig into and go into the highly expensive and time-consuming litigation systems when it comes to cross-border contracts. So international commercial arbitration is something which is the mechanism people use in cross-border commercial contracts. You will have done a lot of simulation drafting and advisory exercises. So we don't teach you that these are the, we don't only teach you that these are the clauses or these are the methods on how to negotiate. we will actually make you do it. Okay, so we are going to put you on the wheel, like you realize when you're sitting next to the driver and when you are on the wheel, the whole perspective changes, the feeling changes, anxiety changes, everything changes. So if you have experienced that once, then definitely you will be able to do it better when you actually handle it. So if it's a simulation exercise, you have done that. Let's say, as Yash was saying, in your second year, you have worked on a tax structuring exercise. In your second year, you have drafted the dispute resolution clause and worked out mechanisms for a cross-border contract. In your second year or third year, you have come to know of what are the different ways in which someone can enter UAE. All these kind of simulation, you will be made to do it. It's not just someone who will come and talk to you on something. You will actually do that. You will work. Okay, you will actually work on those exercises, right? And you will have to complete the assignments for these exercises. You will be hands on doing that. You will be making your hands dirty. You will be trying it out. Okay.
To add to that, what basically we mean by simulation exercises, we exactly give you the kind of work that you would be doing as a lawyer. For instance, in our mergers and acquisition course, when we teach something, so we will give you the work a first year or second year associate gives you. We will give you two companies. We will give you their details. You'll have to go through the financials and draft the contract. We will tell you that client has approached you and you are the legal counsel. Now write your legal opinion. We evaluate that how unprofessional it will look if you write things like this. Every single word. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, like just think, like if you were in your student stages and if you were already able to do the kind of work that an associate with a couple of years experience is going to do, you were already able to do that kind of work, how much ahead it will put you compared to your batchmates. Okay, how much forward it will take your career.
Yeah, and you develop perspective when you know why how things are. To even when somebody is giving you clerical work, you have that perspective that why this comma should not be there, and
Yeah.
you will stand out so well if you can explain that. Listen, because of this overall thing, this comma. When somebody asks you to proofread, and we have had instances where our students have gotten jobs while proofreading, while just doing a simple task of proofreading.
Yeah, yeah. They get it because the way they understand comprehensively how something works. They're not just going to go through it and work on it like how anyone would. They know that what is the essence of this contract that I am actually working on. They know what kind of things must have happened before this. Okay, what will the client have asked? What will the what transaction would have taken place before this to result in a contract like this, and what is going to happen after this? They know that. Okay, you will have published at least 6 articles on these topics which have been appreciated by industry experts, and they show up when your potential recruiters or clients Google your name. Imagine, and 6 is the minimum that we make you. You can write as many as you want. You will always have guidance from 𝗆𝗂 on how to structure, how to work through the flow of the article, how to write it so that it's going to be read. It's it hooks the reader. How to do this? We have an incredible degree of expertise on this. Okay, because you can know from the fact that ipleader's blog is read, has visitors more than the blog above the law, which is like the top blog in US. We have more visitors than this. Now if people are flocking to that place, that definitely means that the way things there are written are such to hook people. And
So I
how do people
yeah.
get that skills? By the guidance, right? Yes.
So I want all of you to do one simple exercise after this workshop. Go back and Google how to file a cyber complaint, or Google how to do anything that comes to your mind which is legal. And then tell me in first page if you do not see something
I
written
feel
by our student. That is the kind of confidence we have and kind of visitors we bring to you. People have come to our blogs, then contacted the person that, listen, can you do this advisory work for me? I really liked in how detailed your article is.
And people, not only on the blog, yes, people took the link of the article from the blog, put it on the LinkedIn profile, and from there they've got clients. I know students who
Yeah.
have got this actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
This happens all the time. Like, so many instances are there with our articles and people getting jobs because of this. So imagine when you're writing about different jurisdiction and these are mandated articles, okay? At least 6. This we will make you do. This so you have to do to get the certification. Other than that, if you want to write 4 articles a month, we are very happy.
It works like anything, like, and I have seen this in all courses. It's not just one. I have
Yeah.
seen in courses where people have been able to break their current employment monotony or their current situation where they were not getting employment and move into zones which are profitable.
In fact, I was very surprised at how professionals also, right? People who have never written, people who have had 4 or 5 years of work experience, they start writing and then they really get into habit of it.
There was a student in real estate, and I want to say that she just did this gig exercise. Forget about, like, even writing an article. She was groomed to write a proper post and everything, and she did that. And then there were responses to that, and in that she was able to change her job from her existing, where she was feeling that she was not
Yeah.
growing. She was able to make a change of employment. So it is just the visibility that you create
Like my
with.
criminal litigation students all have gotten clients on the base of their article, especially cyber one.
Yeah. So it's because of this that they can get a sense that what is the level of thinking this person is going through when
Yeah.
they read such kind of stuff. Okay, it is all non-conventional. It is not run-of-the-mill things at all. Okay, so the work that you get to do, for example, right now in our company law class, students are actually working कि मैं डीमैट अकाउंट में से like कैसे मैं चीजें ट्रांसफर करूंगा in an unlisted company and then how will I bring that company to actually be dematerialized. ये काम कर रहे हैं अभी इस वक्त, like in another class. So you can think it's not run of the mill. You will find things which people have not simply not done.
And we
After
carefully
qualification,
have,
they don't
yeah.
have it.
And whenever we are structuring classes, creating videos or anything, we carefully ensure that we teach things which are not available anywhere. If something is available on Google, we share the link that read this thing. This we are not going to discuss. We will start that as a base and take you to another level.
And it is high industry utility, like,
Yeah.
industry needs that. But people have not done it.
All right, let's proceed.
So you will have made significant progress on your Upwork or Fiverr profile and attracting attention because, and we groom you, we sit you down and we groom you on how to work on Upwork or Fiverr profiles. People will come and say, I don't know how to do that, but we actually do this. Okay. So they will also make you an attractive hire. Now, naturally, when you have done that work, you are, I mean, just think of this. People always talk of NLUs. Why entities go for NLU people is that, like, employers feel that these guys can get maybe they can get the work done because I've seen that happen. Now, imagine that is one person who's in that zone that they can get the work done. And here you are, where you are saying, I've already got it done. Here is where what I got it done. So then whom do you think the employer will prefer after that? Okay. So think of that. So now how can 𝗨𝗂 make your journey easy and take away all the uncertainty and help you to get the results in lesser time? Okay. So you don't struggle to find the knowledge, it's all at one place. Okay, because like otherwise you will be all over the place, going in circles, not getting anything out of it. You don't struggle it, all of it is actually made available to you at one place, okay, by global professionals who know how to prepare you for this kind of work. They have done that, they know how to prepare you. You develop your skills through the weekly assignments, you get corrected where you go off track, and you get to practice the work that you are seeking to do. That's how, because like it will remove uncertainty because you've done it. So you are not uncertain or scared about it anymore, right? You develop your legal brain through the regular practice and the feedback. So every time people will tell you that this is how things are shaped, you improve little bit, then you get feedback, then you improve little more. So gradually, like with the line by line feedback, you improve a lot. You will publish articles and create an online presence, as we already discussed how that works. And this is how you create a track record. So, like I said, when you go to the employer, you simply put before them and say that, look, I have done this as the part of an assignment. I have worked on this. I know how it works. Versus someone else who is from a school and who might be expected, but they don't know, And in here, you are going with an evidence that you've done it. Okay, so you create a track record. You get help from the placement office to pitch for freelance work, build a demonstrable and discoverable freelancer portfolio. Okay. We will connect you with global opportunities and just wait to see how and where this has been done. Okay. So there is an ample amount of counseling and mentoring that you get right from every single point, like how you draft your CV, how you draft your cover letter, how you reach out to people on LinkedIn, everything, every element of it is coached. So you have a coach, you have a very structured guidance available for everything. So you follow this step by step process rather than making and getting stuck and then just not making any progress anywhere. So it's a very clear guidance and structured kind of arrangement where you see where you have reached, here is where you were, here is where you want to go, and with the step by step guidance, where have you reached. Okay, you will be able to make sense of this very clearly.
Okay, so now after much, so all right, I'll explain this very briefly, Komal.
Yeah, sure, please do that.
Yeah.
What are the
So
5 layers of mentoring?
so basically, the way our classes work is there will be an industry expert, basically a person who has done the kind of work that we are teaching you to do. For instance, in international business law, if we are teaching you something in Dubai, so you will have an expert who has done that in Dubai, who has done structuring there. That person will teach you. Then, along with that, there would be course anchor, which is me for this course. So basically, what we do is we are present in each course. We carefully ensure that the experts are not using language, that everybody is on board, and what we have taught, we tell expert that these are all the things that you have to teach, and we are present throughout the session to take your doubts and ensure that, because these are people who are industry experts, they are not very
Yeah.
fluent with how to teach. So we ensure that there's this collaboration between the two. Second, throughout the week, we work with you. When you say you have exams or you're facing personal issues, then we discuss that how to cope up. We come up with the deadlines. Then there will be evaluators who will evaluate your assignment that you will be doing word by word and sit with you, have hour long session, half an hour long session with you discussing each point. After that, article writing, we have an amazing article writing team which will take you through article writing and placement. I think placements we have already spoken a lot about.
Yeah.
So I think we should move to, yeah, success.
So these are the people who actually got success through this kind of institutionalized and structured guidance. Okay, it makes all the difference. Okay, Madhuli Kango, Sakshi Jaiswal, and look at their backgrounds, like what universities they are in. Praveen Gandhi College of Commerce, College of Law, Bharati Vidyapeeth, Pune, okay, Chandigarh University,
Yeah.
okay,
Now these are people who have
RGNLU,
gotten law firms. Okay, these are law firms who they have gotten international law firms. All of you were saying no, that this is unachievable. So these are what all students have gotten
okay.
without an international certification, that is.
And this is like, in our courses where we guided people without the,
Yeah.
international certification. So
They
just
were
think,
not from these courses. I'm clarifying.
they
They
were
were
not
from our
from this.
normal courses.
So what will you be able to achieve if you actually have studied Japanese law and you have the certification from Webster? Okay. So this lady got into Karam Legal UAE. Okay.
That Dinesh Muthal is a law firm in Malaysia, quite famous.
Yeah. Another student who got into a law firm in Malaysia. So so you can think of what is the efficiency of the placements team, okay, and how the mentoring process must have worked for them to be able to get that. Abhi, if you have a Webster certification and a multi-jurisdictional expertise, then what will happen? Now, how can an employer or client from UAE, Europe, or Middle East trust that you know global laws? It's very unusual for lawyers from India, right? Because typically they know only Indian laws. So how will someone trust this? And we could have created this ourselves, but then we thought that what will create a visibility and value for an overseas employer or a client? How will someone know that very clearly that there is some value? That's why we had the added certification from Webster, which is like 100-year-old university with a pan globe presence. And you have that on your LinkedIn and your Upwork profile. Okay. And this is after a proper study that you have gone through. Okay. You've gone through a proper study. You have done the work and you have gotten the certificate from this university. Imagine the network opportunities that being taught by experts with outstanding credentials present you. You know, you will have practitioners from different jurisdictions. You are there in the you won't even have a chance to be face to face with people like this. Otherwise, if you're just looking on your own for 1.5 hours, you are sitting in a class with these kind of people who are experts in other jurisdictions, you will not find opportunity. Like you will just get a webinar or you will get some video or something. Here you are interacting directly with them, being taught by them, being explained things by them, asking questions to them. Okay.
Okay, so Ajinkya already wants to take admission. We need to come to the course. A lot of students are asking. Ajinkya is already convinced.
Yeah. So being in the same classroom as all of these people in each live sessions, because you know this course is not just for lawyers. You may meet your potential clients in your class. Just imagine. It's incredible. Or someone who connect you to potential clients.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, you know. So you will not only leverage the exposure with networking opportunities that, like, you know, a placement cell offers, because they have international collaborations. So now let's what we find, and we already said we looked and we couldn't find anything. So this is what the course is about, guys. When you go to the website, I think that would be a better way to go. This is what the course is about. If you go to 𝗨𝗂.com and you go to foreign university accredited courses. Okay, this is accredited by Webster.
Abhishek, can you post the link again? Oh, amazing.
Okay, this is what the course is. It's going to start on the 1st of March. So you have like 9 days, but we are going to give you something for enrolling today. So let's look at this. Okay, so this is what the international business law course is, and you can find that, okay, on the 𝗨𝗂 website. That is like, you know, a very clear indication that it is affiliated or accredited by Webster. Okay. I told you about someone who's going to teach you, who is a faculty of Webster University. Okay. And someone who's going to teach you negotiation. Okay. So this is Professor Kasia. She is a senior advisor to the United Nations. And she's an international negotiation consultant in Europe, Middle East, and US. And she will be discussing negotiation. Okay. Most likely will begin the course sessions with her.
Imagine being in class with these people.
I mean, you don't have access. You will not have access to such kind of people.
One-on-one interaction, and we have very small classes. It's not like 500 students or 300 students. They will remember your name if you're asking something intelligent.
Yeah. Professor Dominic, who is the chair of Walker School of Business, and he's a professor of business strategy. He's going to discuss China with you, okay? He's going to teach you about that. And the classes will be supplemented by several renowned industry experts across jurisdictions and the 𝗨𝚳𝗂 faculty. Okay. So this is what the syllabus is. If you look at the syllabus, we will introduce you to how legal systems are and what resources.
Right from very basic.
Okay. How many students in one class? It will can't commit specific because lots of people are already enrolling. So,
Yeah.
but like, you know, we are not, we will not have students who are like, you know, excessive in that. It's not like it's going to be hundreds of students or something. It will be like a manageable batch. Okay, we are not going to do that.
You will have enough time to ask your doubts and interact.
So around approximately 20, you can think in one batch or in your class. You will have.
Yeah.
Approximately that. How to, but that kind students might have already enrolled. So how to enter a foreign market? This is what you will learn. Like, you know, what is the right mode? How, what factors do you use to determine that? Okay. International conflict negotiation, we already mentioned, that's going to be taught by Professor Dr. Kassia. Drafting, okay, and this is with special reference to cross-border contracts. Someone is asking some questions here.
We'll take all the questions.
Yeah, we'll take questions. We'll take it. Yeah.
We'll take questions. Keep typing your questions. In 5 minutes, we'll just open the panel.
Yeah.
So stay for that at least.
Okay. And then there is doing business in these jurisdictions. So what are the jurisdictions we are covering right now? It's UK, United States, Middle East, so UAE, Japan, and Brazil. These are the jurisdictions we are covering right now. And China, of course, we have China as well. So we're covering these jurisdictions right now, 6 jurisdictions, but we're going to increase that to a lot more by the end of 2021. And it's not like, you know, you have access to the course, you have access to the course for a period of 3 years. As many jurisdictions as we add to it, they are just to your benefit, and we are going to add. Okay. And international taxation and transfer pricing. So as we said, that's a very essential element. Now, if you have this, can you imagine what kind of opportunities you can get? Okay, you have a combination of these skills: jurisdiction and contract, tax, negotiation, dispute resolution, market entry. All of these skills, if you have, and you're looking at even one specific jurisdiction, and if you're looking at, like, you know, getting skill in that, that's going to add incredible value. While here we are talking of 6. Okay. So can you imagine what is the kind of opportunities you will get after this? Okay. That is why we provide a money back guarantee. Okay. So why do we provide this? Okay. So attending classes and using the services for 45 days, will it be enough for you to know whether the course is good enough, whether you're getting value for your money, and whether you will succeed in your mission or not? 45 days, if you try out something, will that be enough for you to make a judgment call on it? Let me know. Is it yes or no? Will this be enough for you to make a judgment call?
Imagine in a 6-month course, that is like, and we have already told you that what you're going to be learning from in first 2 months. Imagine going through all of that already.
Will that be enough for you to make a judgment call? Chaitali says yes. What about the rest of the people? Is this enough for you to make a judgment call? Yeah. 45 days may you will come to know, okay, what is happening. We're saying you will see a significant difference in a month. Okay, so 45 days, so it's like very clearly you will be able to make a call whether it is working for you or not. Okay. So that is why, and that is how we have ensured that there are no risks on your side at all. Okay. So money back guarantee, I think we can go to the link for that on the course website so people get to see that what it is about.
Or Komal, we can come to the offer. Abhishek has already posted the link to the money back guarantee.
Yeah. So go to the link for the money back guarantee and you will be able to see what it is about. But it's no risk for you because you can decide up to this period of time.
And most importantly, see, we are able to do this because we are so confident about our product. We know that if you use it, you will see that difference in yourself. You wouldn't want to leave.
Now, there's a difference between price for Indians and non-Indians. I must state that because there are few international participants here to this webinar. So the cost for the non-residents, so people who are not resident in India, is a little bit higher. And the reason for this is that we end up paying for exchange conversion and we end up paying also GST right at the point of providing access. So now we are like, actually going for a money back guarantee. If something happens on that count, there is a cost where our money becomes locked. Okay, and that's the impact that is coming. Also, university has agreed to charge lower prices for Indian citizens, given that we are in a developing country. This is very, very common for institutes or universities which are operating across the globe. There are always different prices that are there for people who are in specific countries. I'll tell you, I am a member of ICSA UK. There are different prices if you are based in Ireland. There are different fees if you are based in India because you are in a developing country. That's how it's very common as it happens. Now, I already mentioned about the people in the course. So this is the offer, guys. Okay. This is the offer that you have. Okay. So why are we giving you a corporate law library? Okay. Why are we giving you the corporate law library from 𝗨𝗂? And that is here. If you want to see it, this is how it looks like. Okay. Combined, the value of these courses can be in the range of like 4 to 5 lakhs, more than that. We are charging 1,05,000 for this library and you get 3 months access to this library completely free with the course if you enroll today. Okay, so why are we doing this? Why are we going to give this? For in-house counsels, it's an ultimate armor. If you want to go into that, okay, you will never be left stranded if you have to deal with a transaction. It helps you to support Indian businesses in a better manner because now you know how Indian law works in consonance with the international laws. And we also want to give you a push to enroll immediately. And you may be thinking that, should I do it? Should I not do it? You may be thinking, kal karenge. So we want to give you a push to enroll immediately and overcome inertia. Okay. That's why we are giving you the corporate
and also why we want people to enroll early is because then it gives us very good idea of what kind of people we have in our batch. Because we want to know that if we are having how many law students, how many lawyers, so that we have to work with our experts to have those classes. So it really helps us in planning the session in advance if we have people. So this is all just to improve the quality of course more than anything else.
Okay. So that is like, the details here. Okay. So what is stopping you from enrolling? Now you think of that. What can come in between right now? Is this what is stopping you?
Just after this last few slides, we'll come to question answer. So you can post your questions also.
Is this what is stopping you? Now just think of this. Okay. It's for 73,000 for the Indian residents. For foreigners, it's US dollars 1,500. You will not find a course of this depth and coverage in this price. US universities will charge 10 times more for any such kind of course. Okay, you go and check the price of other courses offered by Webster and you will realize this. Okay,
Yeah. Do a
even a
cross check after
3 month
this.
course cost $4,000. And look at the MBAs, guys, like, that is, and it is even not giving you all of the things that we will be adding in that course. So you're thinking of money, just think of this, go to a comparative thing, and it isn't, in fact, comparative thing isn't available. Okay, just look at other courses by Webster, or even like, 3 months course that is giving some kind of sense on international business laws or transactions. Okay, so we have just convinced Webster that try this and it's not going to be repeated again. Maybe if this 6 months batch goes, the next one will be at a far higher price because they're not offering the courses that low, guys. Okay, it may be 3 times. Okay, so you cannot find the comparable course. It's not like, first of all, not at this price. You can't find the comparable course at all. You will have to do 3, 4 different courses to put together the value of this. Okay, so you think of that. And if you really, the thing is that, you have finance issues, you can be supported by getting a loan from a partner Bajaj Finance. Now, time is another thing. I don't have time to do it. Okay, I don't have time to do a 6 months course. I don't have a family support. These are the kind of things. Okay, I don't have time to do it, guys. There is going to be someone sitting down with you and helping you to plan your time out. So just think of that. It's an incredible degree of mentoring and holding that you get. You
And
cannot
also,
be in this
yeah.
zone that time, like, and the time runs out. 6 months go away. 1 year, first of all, the price of the course will increase. Next, there will be loads of Upwork profiles already there. So you will have higher competition after that. So you think you don't want to do it now. Afterwards, it's going to be like gone forever. So like the
And also,
cost
very
also
small thing
increases.
about time. Very small thing about time. What we are discussing when people say they do not have the time to do the course. One thing you remember, my students come to me and they are like, "Ki, we are having exams, so we don't have time." But time is stretchable. Always, you can always have 1 hour in the day which you can devote to something that has such high return value.
I used to have, like, I remember the words of an author, and she was saying that, like, you say you don't have time, just regularly from when you are waking up in the morning, wake up 1 hour early and see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is like you have to make it. It is never available. You have to make it. Okay, and there is someone who's going to help you work all of these things. Lack of family support, really, like, families will be willing to go overboard. Okay, parents will be willing to go overboard if you are in a situation where you are getting a foreign university qualification with this kind of skills in 6 months. You show them the opportunity, they will support you. Why will they not? Okay, they want your growth, so why will they not support you? Okay,
And if
you have
it
to show.
happens, if it happens that if your family is actually questioning that again you're going to do some waste and you get very interested in this thing, I'll tell you what to do about it in later, something that really works. But for that you have
Yeah.
to be very committed to the course. You have to ensure that if you're spending their money, it's not just spent. After that you work with us throughout it.
you
That's
tell
all
them
that is
you tell
needed.
them that I'm going to work committedly in this course, and then after that, see, I'll be able to give back the money to you.
Yeah, let's move on to.
Yeah, so if you have a lack of clarity about something, you can reach out. Abhishek, have you put Uzair's number here? Please put Uzair's number here. I think we have clarified most of the things here. You can reach out to Uzair. Is this suitable for someone who's a BCom grad and applying for law in this year itself? Why not? You, in fact, have an advantage. When you go through with your law, you will be in a much higher zone than the other people around you. Okay. So this is Uzair's number. You can reach out to Uzair if you're looking to enroll. Okay. And this is one question that you have. Like, do you see an opportunity here? We fleshed out how things work out in the freelancing zone, in MNC zone. Do you see that there is an opportunity in international business law? Do you see that there is a present opportunity right now? Just let me have people answer this. Do you see there is an opportunity, guys? Do you see that you can do this? You can do this work. There's a present work available. Okay. And this is one big deal that you want to do. You want to do remote work from anywhere, from the top corporations. Everyone wants to get in this zone at the moment. Okay. So then if all of that is there, if you see the opportunity, then there is a situation where it's time to take action. Okay. You have to act for it. If you see the opportunity and you don't act, then it's gone. Like I said, it can be 3 times the cost and you can miss out. Okay. Now, what do you need to do in order to take the opportunity? So the first thing is you pay up a booking price of this course. You're not to work on this absolutely together. You book your seat for this course because we are already getting quite a few enrollments. You need to book a seat to be there, to be present in the batch. Like we have convinced Webster for trying this out. You need to book and pay the booking price in order to be in this course.
So we have very
how
limited.
Many people looking to enroll or pay the booking price?
And most importantly, we have limited booking. We are only going to take first 6 students, right?
Abhishek, what is the level?
What is the number for today, Abhishek? Who will get the library access, student library access?
The offer is for first 10 people.
First 10 people. And how many people have approached you, Abhishek, abhi tak? Has anyone done it?
Ujair has received two or three calls and they are trying
to check with. All right. So guys, just let us know. Just drop in chat if you want. First 7 or 8 of those will get the offer. After that, you will have to go to the normal price.
So please put in the booking price. If you want to book your seat and lock it for you for this 6 months, go ahead and pay the booking price. Okay, you have finance options like this. You can pay 14,600 as down payment, and then you can pay 4,867 for 12 months. This is something you can manage from your internship stipends, guys. Okay, so you're looking to convince your parents to go for that. This is what you have to do right now. You're going to be able to manage this. Okay, it's not something which is unmanageable completely. And then if you pay 12,000 more, which is 85, okay, the cost is 73. If you pay 12,000 more, then you can get access to the corporate law library. Okay, for 12 months.
Priyadarshini, you have to go to the offer page that Abhishek has just shared. You'll get the payment link there.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, you'll receive the payment link there, or just let us know.
Anyone else who's going to book, guys, you will have to book it. Okay. You can pay the remaining price later after 2-3 days, and you can speak to Uzair on how it works. But the seat needs to be booked today. Okay. The 7,000 seat needs to be booked today.
All right.
Okay. So finance options are this for 85,000 for the corporate law library. And the processing is 1,200 rupees only. Okay. Approximately. Okay. So how many students are looking to book it right now?
And most importantly, please post your doubts now. We will have a quick doubt session because we are actually running out of time. So let us know if you want to book or have any doubts regarding the course.
Any questions that you guys have?
Or if you want us to reach out to you. Okay.
Okay, Priyadarshini is paid. Okay, what about the rest?
Abhishek, please just check the payment detail and confirm.
Yeah, Abhishek. Yeah, okay.
Guys, any doubts you have regarding what we have discussed?
Any questions that you guys have?
Fatma, this is online course. This is a completely online course.
Yeah. You will have faculties sitting in other jurisdictions teaching you. Okay, in other countries, sitting and teaching you. Okay.
Lot of questions. I think we had certain questions. Let's take those. 𝗂𝗵𝗵 had this question. Aubrey, do you have any specific question that you want, or do you want me to unmute you? I think
if I'm unable to join the course in this round, when does the next round of enrollment start? We don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to work that out, and how that works out, what price, we don't know anything at the moment. Yeah. Anyone has any questions, any specific questions on the course, guys?
Or about what we have discussed today?
See, people are very clear, you are seeing an opportunity. So what is stopping you? Like, unless, what is stopping, what is the two main things people have, we dealt with very quickly. Yeah, Priyadarshini, welcome to the course. So that is great. Who else is there? Guys?
Or guys, at least ask doubts. I thought lot of you had doubts before, and I told that we will open up a panel later. So ask whatever we have discussed today. You can, as far as this course is concerned, reach out to us. I'll be posting my email ID because I've already.
Let's post up, the things. Let's reach out. If you Yash, you want to put it up here. Any questions, because we are looking to end the session, guys. Quickly, if you have any questions on enrollment, let us know. Uzair's number is already put down there. You can reach out to Uzair. You can call him and enroll into the course.
Or you can just send us a LinkedIn message and we will get back to you as per our schedule. But do reach out. We will arrange a call with you.
Yeah.
For any questions that you have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you get placement assessment.
We spoke about question placement.
Darshini, we will have a separate onboarding session with you where we will explain you about placement assistance and how we will work it out.
Great. Okay, Yash, I guess we have this. We have fleshed out the offer also, and the corporate law.
Yeah, most importantly, this offer is available till today. That offer closes.
Midnight, the corporate law library falls away otherwise. That's it. Okay.
Anyway, I hope that most of you learned something in today's session. It's not just about course, but about the different kind of career opportunities that you've had in international business law. That you have learned something new. I hope that you found the session useful.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so Abhishek, just put Uzair's number once again and then we'll close this, because people can reach out to Uzair if it works out. Ajinkya, you are going to be paying in an hour. Okay, fine. But reach out to Uzair and do that. You want to avail of the corporate law library for sure. Okay.
And guys, if you have any suggestions on how we can improve our workshops, what are the things we should cover in next workshop, please connect to me on LinkedIn and I will take your suggestions into account and we'll work on that for sure.
Yash has put down the email ID. Reach out to Yash, please. Thank you so much, guys. I think, Yash, it's time to end the session. People, please note down the phone number of Uzair if you want to reach out, and Yash's email ID if you want to reach out to Yash. Okay. So thank you so much, guys, and have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.